Sports.
We are Baltimore. We are LA.
It's time for Angel Spring Training Baseball this afternoon from Tempe Diablo Stadium. The Angels look to keep their winning ways going, taking on a San Francisco Giants split squad. It is a beautiful day today here in the Valley. We have bright sunshine here today, a little bit on the windy side. We'll see how that plays into things during the course of the ballgame. Terry Smith along with Jose Mota. And Jose, things going quite well for the Angels right now. The Angels have been pitching well. Hitting has been picking up. Angels also have kind of evolved into using their starting pitchers now. We saw that yesterday for the Angels with Jesse Chavez. We'll see that today with Ricky Nolasco.
And here we go. Mike Scioscia says preparation time and all the mapping he's done for the spring started yesterday with Jesse Chavez on the mound, who was terrific. But here's how it projects. Again, don't pay too much attention right now to the order, but Kieran Richards, Matt Shoemaker, Tyler Skaggs, Ricky Nolasco going today, Chavez going yesterday. All are healthy, all have great sessions out in the backfields, feeling very comfortable. They want to come out here and compete and talk about Chavez and what he presents to the Angels. Terry, here it is, a guy that has to depend on that cut fastball, elevating some velocity yesterday. 92, 93, two-seamer, changeup, slider, and how effective was he? 26 pitches, 18 strikes, and he had to get some more work out in that bullpen. So, of course, welcome Jesse Chavez. Mike Scioscia saw what he needed to see, and here we go again.
Yeah, Jesse Chavez struck out 3 of the 6 batters he faced. Looked real good yesterday in the Angels' victory. Mike Scioscia tells us how some of the starting pitchers here in camp prepare on a daily basis.
Some of it's personal preference for a pitcher. You're definitely sensitive to the fact that these guys not only you have to monitor their workload, they work in between starts on things, and you want to save some for that. They'll have plenty of starts to get to the the level they need to start the season. With most guys, it's 2 innings. Some guys, they want to go up for the 3rd, and we leave it up to Charlie and every individual pitcher.
Well, Jose, Mike Scioscia obviously knows how he's going to use his pitchers and get them ready for the start of the regular season. Yesterday, we saw Mike Trout back in the lineup for the Angels. Been in 2 games, not in the lineup for the Angels here today. All he's done is get on base safely every time he's batted.
All he's doing is pretty much a continuation of his whole career, pretty much, Siri, and the way he gets ready here in spring training. And what Mike Trout has told me, looking at these numbers from last season, MVP again, now twice in the American League this spring, 2 for 2. A double, a couple of walks, a hit by pitch, of course, on-base percentage, 1,000. But what he's doing is telling me he is on time, which means he's seeing the ball well as he's tracking it down. Look at this laser, ball tailing away. That's to right field. Now, of course, when he looks breaking ball, he is the best in baseball. Did that shoulder and drive the baseball to center field. That is a double. Now, finding a way to get on. You know Mike Trout wants to run. He wants to be more on first base. So, how about a little hanging breaking ball? Well, lead a little bit and get hit and get on base, but that's all that matters. So, you know, another example of how good he is in producing, but also how he helps other guys produce by getting on base so often.
Well, Jose, as we know, spring training is a time for young players to kind of get themselves on the map, and we've seen some do it already so far this spring.
Throughout the years, we see some guys that perhaps move up on the depth chart, even jump a level when they need to, like Cole Calhoun going from A-ball to AAA because of a solid spring so far. David Fletcher, a lot of energy, a lot of speed himself, with Matt Theis, who's now making a transition smoothly to first base and swinging a great bat. You move along to a guy behind the plate who had the game winner and the best at-bat we've seen, to me, all spring, Jose Briseño, who has a great presence also behind the plate. And, of course, Alex Meyer, little rocky to start with. He got the walks out of the way, came back and finished off really strong. Terry, of course, Mike Scioscia knows these youngsters are also taking advantage of the opportunities provided by these prolonged spring training.
So the Angels and the San Francisco Giants are coming up in just a moment. Ricky Nolasco against Tyler Beede, the pitching matchup. We'll have the lineups and all the action. It's coming up in just a few minutes right here on Fox Sports West.
sunny, windy afternoon here in Tempe Diablo Stadium, and so glad you could join us. Angels broadcast, Angels baseball on Fox Sports West and on AM 830. And for the San Francisco Giants visiting team today, they're going to be managed by David Brundage, their AAA manager, and their split squad. Bruce Bochy staying at home with their regulars. Eduardo Nunez will lead off as a designated hitter. He was an all-star last year. Joe Panik will bat second at second base. Aaron Hill, veteran free agent signee, is at third base batting third, Southern Californian. Jarrett Parker will bat fourth in right field. Chris Marrero is at first base batting fifth. Mac Williamson playing left field batting sixth. Trevor Brown is the catcher batting seventh. Kelby Tomlinson is the shortstop batting eighth. And Gorkis Hernandez is batting ninth. He's in center field for San Francisco. For Mike Scioscia's Angels, Eric Young Jr. leading off. He's in center field. Ben Revere is playing left batting second. C.J. Cron at first base batting third. Luis Valbuena batting fourth, playing third base. Batting fifth is Jeffrey Marte, designated hitter. Martin Maldonado is Angels catcher batting sixth. Batting seventh in right field is Ramon Flores. Batting ninth at shortstop, or batting eighth at shortstop is Nolan Fontana, and batting ninth at second base, David Fletcher. So, young prospect Tyler Beede on the mound for the Giants and for the Angels, making a spring debut, and happy to see him on the mound again. Terry, is Ricky Nolasco.
All right, Jose, Ricky Nolasco has wrapped up his warm-up tosses. We're just about ready for baseball on this Thursday. Who's in and who's out? It's brought to you by In-N-Out Burgers. That's what a hamburger is all about. Who's in the lineup for the Angels? Well, out there in center field today, it'll be Eric Young, not Mike Trout. A lot of the Angels regulars getting the day off. Ramon Flores in right field. No Cole Calhoun today. So we're set for baseball. First pitch today, and it's a low liner hit right at the shortstop, Fontana, and he crouches down to make the grab. Couldn't have had a faster out than that. One pitch, one away, and Joe Panik will be the next batter.
That's good pace. Keep it up.
And we want to remind you that the excitement at the game, it feels at game time as refreshing and delicious as Stella Rosa wines. Time to celebrate. Find Stella Rosa wines at the Big A and your favorite retailer. Game time temperature 73 degrees. First pitch today at 12:08 Pacific time.
73. Can we say there's a wind chill too? Maybe it's 68.
Yep. Well, it is windy. There's no doubt about that here. And here's the next pitch. That's popped foul off the bat of Joe Panik on the left side. Back it out of play. Winds are coming out of the north and northeast at 15 to 20 miles per hour. And
some of the balls that are going to be up in the air are going to be all coming back.
Yeah, going to be tough to get one out today, especially to right and right center.
Well,
just it's going blowing straight in right now.
Just take a look at the outfielders and where they are playing right now. That looks a lot more for reminds of where they would be playing in the Big A, challenging those hitters.
2-1 is the count on Joe Panik. He is the Giants' everyday second baseman. He pops one into shallow right center. That's going to drop in for a base hit. So one out single. Panik is aboard, and Aaron Hill, who was with the Brewers and also the Red Sox last season, he's trying to make the Giants squad as a reserve player. Signed a minor league deal with them late during the offseason. He'll be the next batter. Hill is 34 years old, hit .262 with the two clubs he played for a year ago. 10 homers, 38 runs batted in. First round pick long time ago, 2003, by the Blue Jays. Here's the pitch, and that is on the outside part of the plate, a called strike.
Ricky Nolasco on the mound, a pleasant surprise for the Angels. Not for him, though. When he came over and had a couple of rough starts to begin with, he absolutely turned it on. Became a sinker ball specialist. Threw more sliders in that breaking ball, and big curveball. Almost got away with it, but just showing it.
Here's the next delivery. It's lined down the left side, and that's a fair ball. Running it down near the left side foul line is Revere. He fires the ball back to the infield, but on the play, a single and runners at the corners for the Giants. Aaron Hill with a base hit. 2 on with 1 away, and now Jarrett Parker, the right fielder and cleanup batter, will hit.
And both Panic and Aaron Hill do a good job jumping on something up in the zone from Ricky in Alaska. Not forgetting, too, that Eduardo Nunez hit the ball right on the nose, right at the shortstop Fontana.
So here's Parker, a left-handed batter. 63 games last year for the Giants, and he is in the mix for a starting spot as a corner outfielder for San Francisco. They kind of have a number of players they're trying to decide who will be in that starting lineup in the outfield for him. One of the corner spots, Parker playing right field today, and that one is a pitch he takes for a ball.
I can tell you the one guy they need on a consistent basis is Hunter Pence. He makes them go. They need him healthy.
Pence is not here today. He's playing in their other game against the White Sox. And here's the pitch on the left-handed hitting Parker. He takes that one outside for a ball. Hunter Pence, Jose mentioned, a very good player, key player for the Giants. And last season he missed 56 games because of injury issues.
Fun to watch.
Here's the 2-0. That's fouled back to our left, backing out of play.
And how good was Pence when he was in there? Well, 13 home runs, 57 RBIs, 289 average, 357 on base percentage. And those 106 games for Pence last year.
The concern the Giants have about this guy at the plate, Jared Parker, is that he has struggled in the past against left-handers, so could be involved in some sort of a platoon. Here he chops the ball on the right side. The flip by Crone. A second relay on to first base is going to be late, and coming in and scoring from third base will be Panic. So the Giants get a first inning run. RBI for Jared Parker on the fielder's choice. He's on at first base. Hill erased at second, and Chris Marrero the next batter.
Well, C.J. Crone decides to take a chance trying to complete the double play. Ball brings him in a couple of steps. He has to spin, and certainly that gives a chance to the first base runner who moved pretty roll down the line to beat it out.
So at the plate, Marrero, minor league player a year ago. He's had some brief time at the major league level. That pitch is in there, a strike on him. Marrero was in the Red Sox system a year ago in AAA. Hit 284, 23 homers. Here's the 0-1. Runner goes. The pitch is a strike. The throw is a little bit offline and safe at second base is Parker with a stolen base. Well, that's not a big part of his game, although you wouldn't know it there. He gets the steal. He did not have any a year ago.
It's a great job by their manager, and along with Vince Coleman, who was coaching first base, getting something on Nolasco. Terry, information being passed around quickly from that first base coaching box for Vince Coleman.
Well, Vince Coleman is a guy who likes to see people run, no doubt about that.
Boy, he could fly.
Prolific base stealer in his major league career. Here's the next delivery, the 0-2, and that is a called third strike, and that's how the inning will end. I want to remind you, the top of the first inning, it was brought to you by Rennick Subaru for Tyler Beatty, a young right-hander who pitched in Double-A last year in the Giants system, will get ready to face the Angels here today. Beatty is a former first-round pick and a guy who might be the top prospect right now in the Giants organization. First-round pick 2014. Fastball, he'll top out around 97. Very good curveball. Will throw a sinker and a slider. And the first delivery, that one is right in there for a called strike on the Angel leadoff man, Eric Young Jr. Young is a switch hitter. He bats from the left side, and here comes the pitch. That's a liner right by the mound and through into center field. Ball hit sharply right up the middle. Eric Young is on. We'll see if he might be on the move. He can run. And Ben Revere will be the next batter.
Got a lot of good contact pretty much all spring long from Eric Young Jr. vying for a bench spot for the Angels and providing some speed as an option for Mike Scioscia. He goes out there and gets good leads. And Alfredo Griffin was telling me about this as the Angels first base coach. Alfredo back at first base. Gary DiSarcina, now the bench coach for the Boston Red Sox.
So Beatty is set to face Revere, and there goes Young, not wasting any time. Throw down a second, and waiting with the tag is the shortstop Tomlinson, and he is gunned down trying to steal. A strong throw by the catcher Trevor Brown.
That was a beautiful transfer, getting those shoulders squared up, and on the line just drop that glove and tag him on what was really a good jump over at first base after a good lead by Young.
So one out, no one on. The one strike pitch, it's grounded right to the first baseman. Easy play for Marrero, and he will solo to the bag, and that is the second out. It's young Tyler Beatty, who's pitching for the Giants. This is his second appearance this spring. He did face the Cincinnati Reds this past Sunday and worked 2 scoreless innings, walking 1 with no strikeouts.
He passes a test as a kid that perhaps really has a good head on his shoulders. Vanderbilt product, and after struggling a couple of seasons ago, went back last year back to the Eastern League and dominated, leading that league in ERA under 3.
And at the plate for the Angels is C.J. Cron, who takes the first pitch for ball 1.
Trying to become along the Sonny Gray and David Price products of Vanderbilt, and the news on David Price.
Yeah, I guess some elbow issues.
Yes, he's seeking for his second opinion on an MRI on his left elbow.
Here's Cron lining one into center field, and that's another hit. So the Angels have had a pair of hits here, but just one base runner with 2 outs, and Luis Valbuena will be the next batter. Valbuena playing third base today.
Young Beatty, as Terry mentioned, excellent velocity. Great idea about pitching, and one thing the Giants admire in talking to some of the evaluators is how he was able to put together the solid season last year and implement pretty much everything, grow as a pitcher, mature, and keep showing that he's on the right path. If you watch his mechanics, fairly solid, straight over the top. One thing he does in terms of deception, learning through the years, we'll see that glove come out first to the hitter, and then you'll find that baseball.
Valbuena tried to bunt the first pitch and fouled it off. The infield is back, so that kind of factored into his thinking there. Maybe drop one down on that third base side, have a shot to beat it out, and the pitch, that one is a pitch he takes for a ball. It's 1 ball, 1 strike. Angels have won 5 straight here in the Cactus League. As far as the Giants, they come into the game having won 3 and lost 3. And they won their first 3 games and They've since dropped 3 in a row going into today. Here's a lazy fly ball lifted into right center field. Very shallow. The wind kind of keeping that ball from going very far at all. But coming in is Gorkis Hernandez, the center fielder, to make the grab. And that'll do it. Angels have a pretty quiet inning. A couple hits, but nobody got past first base. We are headed to the second. And it's 1-0 San Francisco on the Angels Baseball Radio Network and Fox Sports West. We go to the second inning, and the first batter up for the Giants is Mac Williamson. He's playing left field for them today. First pitch from Nolasco. It missed for ball 1. Ricky is set. Here's the next pitch, and that's right in there for a called strike. When the Angels got Ricky Nolasco last year, and he came over from the Minnesota Twins right at the start of August last season, into the trading deadline. Here's the pitch. That's way outside. It misses for a ball. Nolasco made 11 starts for the Angels, had a 4-6 record for the Halos, but his ERA was good, 3.21. And in September, he really turned it up a notch.
Yes, he did.
Month of September, his ERA with the Angels was 1.85.
And he is an innings eater.
There's a pitch that's low. Last season, he pitched just a little bit shy of 200 innings overall, 197 2/3. And he has a vesting option as far as his contract being extended through next season, depending on the number of innings that he pitches between last season and this season.
Mike Scioscia was asked about that. Does that ever come into play? He says absolutely not. Billy Epler was asked about that. Said no, I'm going to pull a guy just because no, it doesn't come into play.
Here's the next pitch, and that one is chopped out to second. It's fielded there by David Fletcher, who's getting the start. His throw easily gets Williamson for the first out. So 1 gone. Trevor Brown, the catcher, will bat. And we want to remind you this copyrighted broadcast presented by authority of Angels Baseball may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. The accounts and descriptions of today's game may not be disseminated without the express of Angels Baseball. Very windy today here in Tempe.
Ricky has had innings up to 212 1/3. That is his career high, and that was back in 2008 with the Marlins, Florida Marlins back then. But he's had years of 185, 206, 191, 199 1/3. And he's had years like last season, 197 2/3. He'll take the ball. 6 years with 30 or more starts. for Nolasco, and the Angels are hoping that trend continues or even gets better here in 2017.
Here's the next pitch, and that is taken for a called strike. So it's 1 ball, 2 strikes on Trevor Brown. He was in 75 games for the Giants last year, backup catcher, and he hit .237. Here's the next delivery, and that is a good-looking off-speed pitch that freezes. Trevor Brown struck him out looking. So the second strikeout for Nolasco today, and they've each come on a called third strike.
Well, here's a pitch we're talking about. He got away, and rightfully so. Charles Nagy, Angels pitching coach, said, well, you know, sometimes a big curveball plays well. Other times it just stays up too much. And he got him to tighten up his slider, use it a little bit more. And between slider, sinker, that's what made him so effective as he ended the year strongly. And Terry, you were talking about September for Nolasco. 34 innings, allowed only 23 hits, 1 home run, walked 8, and 24 strikeouts with a 1.85 ERA. Also an opponent's average in September, only 1.95. And he'll tell you, it's just a simplification of my game. Sinker, slider, changeup, he throws a splitter, and then the occasional big overhand curveball.
So 1-1 is the count on Tomlinson, and the next delivery checks on that one. Did he go around? Yes. On the appeal, the umpires today, Kerwin Danley is the home plate umpire, and along the bases we have Dale Scott, also Todd Titchener, and Jeff Nelson, 4-man crew. Here's the delivery, and that's blowing outside. And 1-2 the count.
It's good to visit with the umpires here before the game today, as we're going to be passing along to you some of the new rules issued today and solidified by Major League Baseball.
Yeah, Major League Baseball announcing some modifications as far as the rules for the 2017 season. Here's a slow bouncer grounded just foul on the left side, and the count holding 2-2. One of those new rules will be the intentional walk. You don't have to throw the 4 pitches anymore.
Take a base.
Yeah. So that was announced, and that rule modification will be in place for the 2017 regular season.
I have absolutely no issues with that.
Here's the 2-2, and that is a called third strike, and out looking is Tomlinson, and a strong inning for Nolasco. We'll see if that's it for him today. He ends up retiring the final 5 he has faced, at least so far, through 2 innings, and 3 of the last 4 on strikeouts looking. We're going to the bottom of the second. 1-0 Giants on the Angels Baseball Radio Network and Fox Sports West. We go to the bottom of the second inning on a very breezy day here in the Valley, and the wind is coming in. For someone to hit a ball out of the ballpark today, they're either going to have to get a break as far as the wind, or they're going to have to hit the ball incredibly hard to get it out.
Like Terry Smith kind of stuff. Right through the teeth of the wind.
Holy mackerel, it is really windy here today. The pitch, that's fouled off on the left side. Our booth is like a wind tunnel right now. Papers flying everywhere. The panels as far as the roof in our booth are flying up in the air. Yeah.
It's a little spooky here for Terry. It's okay. Terry, it's all right.
It's okay, Jose. 1-1 is the count, and here's the next one on Marte. That one skips right by everybody, by the catcher Brown, and back to the backstop, so it's 2-1. We mentioned the Giants are playing another game at their spring training home in Scottsdale, and they're taking on the White Sox, so they have guys like Buster Posey and Hunter Pence and Brandon Crawford and Denard Span and Brandon Belt all slated to play in that ball game today. They haven't brought too many regulars here for this one. As the pitch is fouled back again, it's 2-2.
Oh, think about the Giants. There's a tough stretch in their spring training schedule because they played a game last night against the Dodgers. And it sure helps to have this stretch happen when you have a lot of bodies around here still before you make cuts. So 3 games for them in a short period of time.
Next delivery, it's a little bit low on Marte. Good eye on that pitch, so it's a full count, 3-2.
Really like how this young man gets after it. And one thing they worked on for years with Beatty is extension and getting over that front leg. And from here, it looks absolutely solid.
Here's the payoff pitch, and that one is a little bit low and away. It's ball 4, so the Angels have Marte on. 1-0 San Francisco. Maldonado will be the next batter.
Well, we talked about Ricky Nolasco, Terry, and how he's able to tighten things up. He did it quickly, too, after being a little flat, maybe a little too amped up in that first inning. He settled down and implemented the secondary pitches so well. A couple of nice sliders to end up in quite an economical outing for him today.
It's like the Angels are getting some action in the bullpen, so a tip-off that Nolasco's day is over. Here's a bunt try by Maldonado, but he fouls it off over by the Giants on deck circle.
Keep in mind, part of our open on television today was talking about Mike Scioscia expressing how some guys would like to go 3 innings in the first time out. Other guys 2 innings. I think Mike Scioscia, Charles Nagy preferred to just keep everybody the same at 2, but 3 springs ago, that got changed. You recall that? Everybody went 3 innings the first time out, and then they went back to the old ways of going 2.
1 strike pitch off speed. It's low.
I'll bring that up only because the way Nolasco finished, don't you think he wants to go out there and throw another inning?
Oh, for sure.
I would think so.
Yeah. Tomorrow we'll see Matt Shoemaker pitch for the first time this spring, and then after that, Saturday, could see Tyler Skaggs. We'll see Garrett Richards get a start here in the next few days for the Angels. We haven't seen any of the back pieces of the Angels bullpen work yet, namely Houston Street, Cam Bedrosian, and Andrew Bailey. But Mike Scioscia was saying that he will begin working those 3 back-end relievers into games here in the next few days.
Saw J.C. Ramirez actually start the game. Seen Alvarez throw a couple times, Guerra throw a couple of times.
There's the next pitch, and that one is tap foul back behind the plate. In the case of a few of those pitchers, they will be joining their World Baseball Classic team, so they might have been on a little faster track.
Yep. This was a case with Texas Rangers starter yesterday, Martin Perez, who pitched for Venezuela along with the Angels you mentioned. Ellis Guerra, Jose Alvarez, and Yusmeiro Petit.
Also slated to see action today for the Angels, Mike Morin. Brooks Pounders on the board. 1 ball, 2 strikes to count. Time called by the home plate umpire, Kerwin Danley. They have the infield at double play depth. Angels batting here in the second with the Giants up 1-0. Nobody out. Runner at first base. 1-2 pitch, and that one is waved at and missed, and Maldonado is down. Struck him out. First strikeout of the day for Tyler Beede.
That's for Beede. Has the ability to put you away because of that extension. Everything looks the same coming out of his hand, and again with that glove is a way to get your attention away from the baseball. It sure helped. Maldonado did not look comfortable at all, even on the attempted hit-and-run pitch with the fastball inside.
There's Ramon Flores, who's getting a start today in right field for the Angels. Left-handed batter, first time up in this game. Here's the pitch. He takes a called strike. Angels have the red tops with the white pants, and the Giants have the black tops, orange numerals and lettering, and the gray pants. Beede is set, and here's the next delivery. Misses high with that one, and the count is even. It's 1 ball, 1 strike.
Tyler Beede once a finalist for the Golden Spikes Award in college after winning 14 games his sophomore season. And he is out of Worcester, Massachusetts. The town of, Terry, the College of the Holy Cross.
Wow, Worcester, Mass. Here's the pitch. Runner goes, and it's fouled back behind the plate.
How about that? Another hit and run, and I like this. Mike Scioscia implementing this. We saw the Angels work at this early today in the situational hitting session here on the main field. Ron Renicky getting his players accustomed to the signs, the combination, different signs, sometimes for different players. I'm sure there's no confusion, but a couple of hit and runs already today here with Marte at first base. Good idea with a guy that has thrown strikes so far. And it's been around the zone, Beede.
So Beede is set, and here's the pitch. That one is chopped foul over on the right side. I mentioned Ron Renicky coaching at third base. Alfredo Griffin, the Angels' first base coach.
Back to the old days.
Well, yeah, but one of the new rule modifications involve where the coaches are supposed to be positioned in the coaching boxes, and it looks like Ron Renicky's okay.
Fredo, come on now.
He's not in that box right now.
Fredo, help us out here.
The lines are clearly there.
It'll be stressed.
Well, there's always been a rule that the base coaches are supposed to be in those boxes, but the rule would only be enforced if the other team took issue with the coach not being in the coaching box. Now, apparently the rule is going to be more strictly enforced by the umpires.
You can come as far in as that initial line, closer to home plate.
Yep,
obviously.
But Alfredo nowhere near that box right now.
Fredo says, until somebody tells me, hey,
there you go.
We'll all go right now.
Yep. Well, all this will take effect when the regular season begins, so I guess there's a little gray area here in the exhibition players. A chopper hit on the right side. The flip to second is in time. The relay to first is late as Flores beats the throw, and he will get a fielder's choice, but they do get the out at second on Marte. 2 outs in the inning. And the Angels will send up the 8-hole hitter, Nolan Fontana.
Very happy for Gary DiSarcina, Terry, the opportunity he's getting in heading back to the Boston organization.
Yep, he's the new bench coach for Boston. Of course, their bench coach, Torey Lovullo, a former Angel, is now the new manager for the Arizona Diamondbacks.
Yeah, we see Torey Lovullo in the news here every single day here in the Phoenix area.
Yep.
Well-deserved opportunity.
Angels will have a few couple of games against the D-backs near the end of this month of March.
And you have a history dating back to the minor leagues with Torey Lovullo.
Yeah, we were together in the Yankees organization for a number of years, so nice to see Torey get a shot to manage a major league team. He had been a finalist for a number of big league jobs and now takes over the D-backs. So 0-1 is the count on Fontana. 1-0 Giants here in the second, and the next pitch a little bit low and away.
Think about toward the ball, Terry. You talk about being prepared and also earning the respect of the players when, even more at that level, when Farrell went down with this illness, battled cancer. And the players said he was absolutely terrific to the point where he had an opportunity maybe to go manage somewhere in the Boston Red Sox. So you're not going anywhere. You're going to pay you even more for you to stay here because the players wanted him around.
Right.
I spoke with David Ortiz about him, and he was just raving about Lovello and what he did for that team when he took over as an interim.
1-1 strike is the count. And here's the next pitch. That one is tapped back to the mound. It's stopped by Beatty, and he underhands the toss to his first baseman, Marrero, to end the inning. So it ends on a comebacker. Angels do leave a base runner on for the second straight inning. We head to the third, and San Francisco leads at 1-0 on the Angels Baseball Radio Network and Fox Sports West. Third inning, the Angels will make a pitching change, so we figured that was it for Ricky Nolasco. That turns out to be the case. And Nolasco, even though he gave up the run in the first inning, did a nice job his first start this spring. 2 innings. He allowed 2 hits, 1 run earned, didn't walk any, and struck out 3. So Yusmeiro Petit is the new pitcher, and he pitched for the Giants for a number of years. Trying to win a spot on the Angels staff this spring. And the first delivery that's in there for a called strike. Petit was with the Washington Nationals last year, mostly as a reliever. He did have a start with them. It was kind of a middle reliever for the most part a year ago. Here's the next pitch, and trying to bunt that one is Gorkis Hernandez. And the count on him, it's even up at 1-1 strike.
Petit started that first game for the Angels, and he was already stretched out to 2 innings, so perhaps he could go 45, 50 pitches, hopefully 3 innings here for Mike Scioscia today. That could be the plan.
Next delivery, and that is right in there for a called strike.
Giants know very well how valuable somebody like Yusmeiro Petit is.
So it's 1-2 in the next delivery, and this is chopped fair right near the third base bag. It's fielded by Valbuena. His throw over to Cron is in time. That'll be the first out. 1 gone. Eduardo Nunez is the batter, and fans, don't forget to register your little angel for the 2017 Junior Angels Kids Club for only $18. Members receive 4 ticket vouchers a t-shirt, a coupon for a free large pizza, and more. It's presented by Papa John's. Visit angels.com/Junior Angels for more info. Nunez lined out to short his first time up. He's DHing for them, and he takes the first pitch. That one misses ball one. It's 1 ball, no strikes.
Eduardo Nunez, how he surprised the world of baseball last season, becoming an all-star for the Twins.
And he swings at this one, lifts it in the air in the right center field. Circling under is Eric Young Jr. He'll make the catch. Going to his left out there in right center. 2 away, Joe Panik, the batter. Panik singled and scored the game's only run. And that was back in the very first inning. We're in the third right now. 1-0 Giants. Left-handed hitting Joe Panik. He hit just .239 last year. Had 10 home runs. That was a career high. He won a Gold Glove last year for the Giants. The Giants are a team that plays good defense, especially up the middle when you have Brandon Crawford and Panik. And Crawford won another Gold Glove last year. He's had a couple of them. The Giants shortstop, he's not here today.
It is a fun combination to watch. And Crawford, well, he has developed in the major leagues into a threat with the bat. Terrific player all the way around.
Here's a pitch on its way. That's a little bit low. Yeah, Brandon Crawford, the Giants shortstop, drove in 84 runs last year. Guy in the lineup all the time. He missed only 7 games.
And the power has shown up.
Yeah.
He can drive the baseball.
Here's the 1-1. And that one on Panik. He takes it for a called strike. Joe Panik was a first-round pick of the Giants back in 2011. Had some back issues in the past. Last year he battled a concussion problem, and he did miss some time last season, some 35 games a year ago. The pitch, that's low, and the count on Panik, it's even 2-2. Petit's retired the first 2, the Angel reliever. And Yusmeiro Petit, he's a good swing man that the Angels could utilize if he does make the opening day roster, as that pitch is fouled off on the left side.
So valuable to any staff. Spot start, okay, then go to the bullpen. Not just go to the bullpen. Go to the bullpen, give me maybe 1 inning today and 3 innings a few days from now, and pick me up. It's pretty much how Jesse Chavez himself has made himself a nice career now. Vying for a starting spot, and Jesse Chavez yesterday in his debut, very solid.
There's a pitch that Panik takes outside. The count 3-2.
It's one of those things, Terry, that when you don't have anybody that can fill that role, you start filling it as the season progresses, because you start matching up so many ones out of that bullpen that eventually you end up making more moves that you need to with the up and down and AAA shuttle.
And on the 3-2 delivery, a little bit low and outside. That'll be a walk. So the first one issued by Angels pitching today. Aaron Hill will be the next batter. Infield backed up. Hill singled his first time up. Petit, who's on the hill for the Angels, who mentioned his connection to the Giants, and boy, he had a ball game a few years ago when he was with the Giants, 2013 season. Best game he ever pitched in his major league career. There's one that's chopped on the right side, and it's going to roll on out to Flores. That's another hit for Aaron Hill, so that puts runners at first and second. And Jared Parker will be the next batter with 2 outs. Yusmeiro Petit lost out on a perfect game with 2 outs in the 9th inning in a start for the Giants against the Diamondbacks back in 2013. He finished the game allowing just 1 hit, and he pitched a 1-hit shutout, but he was oh so close. 26 outs in a row, and then they got a hit to ruin the perfect game bid for him.
Perfecto. relief. Somebody like Petit after his season last year for the Nationals that you were talking about in 36 games had a tough time getting a job. Ended up signing a minor league contract with the Angels.
Yep. There's a pitch right in there for a called strike. He had some trouble last year when he was with Washington with the home run ball, and that has been a bit of an issue for him in his big league career. He allowed 12 homers last year in 62 innings. Here's the pitch, and that one is outside. And that's a hefty total for a relief pitcher.
Yes, it is.
And boy, it all depends. You can get away with home runs if it comes in games that don't really mean anything, or if there aren't any people on base. But boy, if you're coming in late in ball games trying to hold on to a lead in a close game, those home runs allowed by relievers late in close ball games are devastating.
You know, I think one area in baseball that's so overlooked, protecting leads is great, but sometimes that deficit, Terry, of the margin with your offense. Going from 2 to 4 runs in the 6th or 7th inning, it's a huge difference.
Yeah.
Consider how many times you're going to be going around that lineup. That's where middle relief is so valuable.
There's a cut and a miss on a good off-speed pitch. Jared Parker is fooled, and the inning is over. So Petit gets his first strikeout here this afternoon. No runs in the inning. They had a hit and a walk. They leave a couple. We are headed to the bottom of the third. It's 1-0 San Francisco on the Angels Baseball Radio Network, driven by Mazda. New pitcher in the ballgame for the Giants. And coming into work is Andrew Suarez, a right-hander. We also have another pitcher, Albert Suarez, who's with them. A lefty, Andrew Suarez, taking over. So the first batter is David Fletcher. And Suarez looks in for the sign, and here comes the pitch, and that one is right in there for a called strike.
David Fletcher, one of the young players we're talking about, and making the most out of these early opportunities. Terrific, getting on base, stealing bases, positioning, feeling his position.
Takes that pitch for a ball. Saw Fletcher start against the Cubs a couple of days ago in the starting lineup for the Angels here today. And the pitch, that one is a little bit low. Two balls, one strike, the count. And And here's the next delivery, and that one is taken. It's right in there for a called strike. So the count even. It's 2 balls and 2 strikes. Suarez pitching for the 2nd time this spring. He took a loss in relief in a ball game against the Oakland A's, and that was a game this past Monday. Fletcher, right-handed batter, waits the next pitch, and he takes a cut at that high fastball. He threw it by him, struck him out. 2nd strikeout today for Giants pitching. Tyler Beede, their starter, worked the first 2. He allowed a pair of hits, no runs. He ended up walking 1, and in the strikeout department, he had 1 strikeout. So the Angels turn it back to the top of the order, and Eric Young Jr., who is the leadoff batter today, will be the next hitter. Here's the pitch, and that one is low and away on the switch hitter, batting from the right side.
Yeah, and as a switch hitter, what a better thing to have the opportunity in spring training when you're trying to show off your skills to be seen from both sides of the batter's box.
Here's the next pitch. It's bounced on an easy hop to short. Tomlinson has it, and his throw is in plenty of time for the 2nd out.
Will not just be seen, but for you and your comfort level and confidence level to see some pitches coming from both sides over on the mound, as it is sometimes so tough as a switch hitter to keep that balance. Many times when you'll feel so great on one side, not so great on the other, and Terry, that could flip quickly throughout the season, go back and forth.
So here is Ben Revere with 2 outs and nobody on. He bounced out to short his first time up, and the pitch, and that's a little bit inside. This lefty Andrew Suarez played his college baseball at Miami of Florida with the Hurricanes, and kind of unusual, especially for a baseball player in college. He spent 5 years at the University of Miami, so he redshirted and then had 4 years of eligibility, and so was there for 5 years, and sure enough, here he is trying to make a major league club.
Oh, he went to class. Got his classes in.
He had extra time to get the classes in.
Of course.
I understand what you're saying.
Smart move.
Here's the next delivery. That's low.
Play for 4 and go to school for 5. Why not? That's a good program.
It seems nowadays a lot of athletes in college who end up trying to go professional in various sports, they leave school early. This guy was there for 5 years before he left school.
Smart.
There's the 2-1, and that one is low and inside. 3-1. Guess nowadays, really, it's not uncommon at all for someone to get a degree in college, going to school for 5 years, but from an athlete's standpoint, that's a little bit unusual. There's a pitch that misses for a ball, and trotting to first base with a 2-out walk is Revere.
That's the next thing we're going to find out, Terry. His degree.
So here is C.J. Cron with 2 outs, and let's pause for stations to identify themselves on the Angels Baseball Radio Network. Jerry Smith, Jose Mata, and our producer-engineer Jorge Sevilla with you today from Tempe Diablo Stadium. Bright sunshine. Boy, the skies are clear, but it is windy today, and that wind has been blowing in all day long. 1-0 pitch. That one is high and away. A fastball misses. 2-0 the count.
Of course, we talk about the effects of the wind on the hitters, but also on the pitchers. That wind behind you could do a couple of things. Amp you up a little bit more on the fastball and give you a little extra movement that you don't know where it came from. And at times, it does not help with your breaking ball, especially here in the thin air in Arizona, when because of like extra push from the wind, things could get a little flatter as they approach home plate. So in the meantime, you hang some pitches up in the zone, Terry, and you have a better chance of it staying on the field. 2 balls, no strikes on Cron.
Here's the next pitch from the lefty, and that one is high and away. It's now 3-0, so he walked Revere. Now he's missed on 3 straight against Crone. Valbuena would be up next with 2 outs.
Talked to Greg Maddux one time about this, and Wrigley, of course, where he succeeded. He succeeded everywhere. Sometimes that wind blowing out against his pitches was exactly what Greg Maddux needed.
Here's the next delivery. There's a shot ripped by the third baseman Hill into left field. Headed for third and getting there easily, the lead runner Revere. A hard hit single for C.J. Crone. And a threat here with 2 outs for the Angels. Runners at the corners for Valbuena.
Crone is hot. Crone is being pushed. And, of course, because of the presence of this guy coming up here, it's going to be a fight all the way till the end. With Pujols, of course, very close to seeing some game action, too. C.J. Crone proved last year that for stretches he has the ability to be that productive, powerful hitter and slugger the Angels have been counting on for a couple of seasons.
Here's the first pitch, and that is a called strike on the outside corner.
And the way he's been swinging the bat, Terry, even more remarkable because remember, Crone had that original surgery when he first suffered the broken hand after getting hit in Baltimore, but also in the offseason he had another surgery.
He did, yep. Here's the next pitch, lifted in the air in the right center field. Parker is chasing hard, and he can't make the catch. The ball might have tipped off the end of his glove, and the ball lands out on the warning track. The Angels have scored 1, have scored 2, and it's second base with a 2-out, 2-run double. Giving the Angels the lead is Luis Valbuena. It's 2-1.
Luis has got some power. That's the one batted ball we've seen cutting right through that wind, and he stayed right in it against the left-hander again, as he did yesterday against the Rangers. And a quick correction for Valbuena, telling me today that second at bat got a little too comfortable, and he goes against the lefty today. If I see one, I need to make sure I land on time and straight more through the middle. And there's another good result for Luis Valbuena.
So Marte is the batter, and he taps that one foul over near his on-deck circle. I don't think that the right fielder, Jared Parker, with the way that wind has been blowing in, thought that ball was going to carry that far.
You're right.
He gave it a good effort, but we hadn't seen a ball hit that deep here in this game with that wind blowing in like that.
And had it been higher, it's going to hang a little bit more, but it was a liner cutting right through it.
Yeah. Next delivery on Marte, it's fouled off on the right side. It's no balls and 2 strikes. So the Angels, as we've seen here in the first week of games in the Cactus League, keep on racking up 2-out runs. Other day, a few days ago, the Angels put 5 runs on the board, and that was the win that the Angels had here at Tempe Diablo. I believe that was the game against the Padres. All 5 of those runs came with 2 outs.
And of course,
first 2 today.
Spring training wins are not going to mean a whole lot, but certainly they create a good environment, especially for the young guys that contribute to those wins by going out there and doing their jobs and providing a lot of energy.
Here's the 1-2 pitch, and that is low. And the count even. It's 2 balls, 2 strikes.
It's so important nowadays as the general managers address their teams the first day, Terry. The young players need to hear this. It's going to take more than 25 to win. And you come into camp and be prepared, because you don't know if you're going to be breaking camp with the team, but at some point you will be called. Be ready, and it starts right now.
Here's a little pop-up in his shallow right. That's going to fall in for a base hit, making a turn at third, but going back to the bag is Valbuena now, hustling up to second, and safe there will end up being the batter as Marte hustles up on the throw to the plate to get the second, and the Angels will have him at second and third. The inning continues here. Marte will get a single, and then advancing on the throw to the plate as Valbuena was acting like he might try to score, but then jammed on the brakes after he got past third.
That's a good job by Ron Renicky, considering where the outfielders are playing. You're talking about the wind, how shallow they're playing today. But an outstanding job, too, by Marte reading the high throw going through the cutoff man.
Here's Maldonado batting. Hit here could mean a couple more runs. The Angels have had 4 straight batters reach base safely after the first 2 were retired in the inning. 3 hits in a row, along with a walk by Revere that kept the inning going. 1 ball, no strikes, the count on Maldonado, and the next pitch low and away.
I'd like to see Martin just go out there and let it fly. Take a big swing. It's been a little tentative at times. Batting practice to see the ball explode off of that barrel. Here in the early going. Still trying to get things settled, get some timing down, but he can let it fly.
2-0 pitch, and that is in there, called strike.
Terry is a guy that has a pretty decent exit velocity off of his bat.
Time called is stepping out of the box is Maldonado. Suarez ready, next delivery way outside, nowhere close. 3-1 to count. He is having a tough time getting the final out here in this inning.
Terry,
got the first 2
This
easily.
could be a situation in the regular season when the umpire goes, you don't take the bag. That's it. Go to first.
Right. And here's the next pitch, and that one is low, ball 4.
Of course, that directive will come from the dugout. And the manager says, you know, I just want to walk him so the pitcher will not have to throw a pitch, as we were talking about some of the adjusted rules.
So they are going to make a pitching change after that walk to Maldonado loads up the bases. Still 2 outs in the inning. When we get back, we'll see if the Angels can take advantage of this situation. Ramon Flores will be the batter when we return. A pitching change here in the 3rd. Angels up 2-1 on the Angels Baseball Radio Network and Fox Sports West. Matt Reynolds is the new pitcher at the plate for the Angels is Ramon Flores, and with the bases loaded, 2 outs and 2 in, the first pitch of ball, 1 ball, no strikes. A walk would force in a run. We've already had a couple of them in the inning. Here's the next pitch, and that caught the inside part of the plate for a called strike.
Big man on the mound here in Reynolds. Very deliberate. Kind of glides into his landing spot there in front of the mound before he shows you that arm coming from different angles.
Here's the next delivery, and that's fouled off on the left side, out of play. Matt Reynolds certainly familiar with the Valley. He pitched in the past for the Diamondbacks. Now with the Giants. 1 ball, 2 strikes to count. And There's a pitch that misses inside. It's now 2-2. Reynolds was in 8 games last year for the Giants. Only a total of 6 innings. Fastball, curve. He's always had a real good split finger fastball. He throws that a lot to right-handed batters facing the left-handed hitting Flores here. And the next pitch, and that's low. So the count goes full, and again with the bases loaded, Reynolds is going to have to come in with a strike. Angels have had 5 straight batters reach safely with 2 outs. Runners go. The pitch grounded sharply. Good stop, though, by the first baseman, Marrero. He reached the glove up on that hopper right near the bag and stops it and gets the out at first to end the inning. That saved a couple of runs right there. Angels have to settle for a pair. In the inning, had 3 hits, a couple of walks, and leave them loaded. We have completed 3. We head to the 4th. 2-1 Angels on the Angels Baseball Radio Network and Fox Sports West. We go to the 4th. 2-1 Angels at the plate, and fouling the pitch off is Chris Marrero, who made that nice play at first base for the Giants last inning. Fouls the first one off on the left side. The count, no balls and a strike. Petit is still out there. Use Marrero, Petit. And the next pitch, pitch taken for a ball. 1-1 the count, a little bit low.
Giants fans and some of those teammates over in that third base dugout know a lot about Petit, of course, as a former Giant. When he established a major league record for consecutive batters retired in a single season, 46 in a row across 8 appearances between the end of July and the end of August in 2014. 46 consecutive batters retired.
Count is 1-2, and the next delivery, that's a little bit low and away. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Angels have the infield back, the outfield not too deep, especially Eric Young in center field, very shallow with that wind blowing in. The right fielder Ramon Flores is shallow as well. Revere in left playing a little bit deeper. 2-2 is the count on Chris Marrero. Angels have 2 runs on 5 hits. The Giants have a run on 3 hits.
Shading over towards his left in center field. Shading right center field is Young. does a good job running his routes, as we see in early work also.
There's a pitch that misses, so the count is full. It's 3 balls and 2 strikes. Tomorrow the Angels will play the Milwaukee Brewers. The Angels opened up the Cactus League against the Milwaukee Brewers, and that was last Saturday. And Matt Shoemaker is going to be on the mound for the first time for the Angels. There's one that's fouled off on the right side, backing out of play, and it'll be the first time that he's pitched in an actual game since being struck by that liner.
That's right. His season ended early back on September 4th. Second inning of that game at Seattle, when a ball hit at 105 miles an hour off the bat at Kyle Seager. Struck him. Ended up having surgery. He's fully recovered. No flinching whatsoever when we saw him throw to live hitters without the protective screen. And the big test will be tomorrow, of course.
Here's the next delivery. That ball is well hit into left field. Revere is going back at the wall, and he has some room on the warning track.
Wrong date.
Yep. Well, right now the wind isn't blowing all that much, but that one, when it left the bat, looked like it certainly had a shot to leave, but it didn't get out. So just a long out off the bat of Marrero.
Wrong day for that one. It had some angle, it had distance, but just not enough push from the wind.
And Marrero's a guy who hits home runs. He had 23 of them last year in the minors, so it's not like he's a player who doesn't have much power. There's a strike on the outside corner here on Mac Williamson. 0-1 is the count.
And going back to Matt Shoemaker, what a trying year it was, because in April last year, Matt Shoemaker was 1-4 with a 9.15 ERA, eventually getting demoted to AAA.
Yeah.
And that demotion came after he allowed 7 earned runs in 2 1/3 innings on April 30th at Arlington. And then after the injury to Garrett Richards, he got called up, and everything was a total turnaround. Terrific season right after that.
There's the 0-2 pitch. That's a little bit low. And had there not been the injury to Richards, the game plan was to keep Shoemaker in the minors for a little bit more extended time. But the Angels just had that rash of injuries start happening to starting pitchers, and Shoemaker was rushed back to the big leagues and then looked more like his old self. Here's a liner by the mound through into center field. That's a 1-out hit for Mac Williamson, his first hit of the day, and hit number 4 for San Francisco. So Trevor Brown will be the next batter. I mentioned Brown was a backup catcher for the Giants last season, but he in all likelihood is going to have a tough time making their club. They signed the veteran Nick Hundley to back up Buster Posey this year.
They made some good additions.
Here's the pitch, and that's a one-hopper through the right side. It's going to bounce on out to Flores. Another hit. Runners at first and second, 1 out.
After some issues with that bullpen towards the end of the season. And by the way, what a great job once again by Bruce Bochy in getting that team to the postseason, Terry. But they signed Mark Melanson to a hefty contract. And you mentioned Nick Hundley. Got superstar Buster Posey, Brandon Belt. It's all about pitching in that ballpark. Just enough hitting to get it done. What a job once again, I repeat, by Bochy and the staff in getting them to the playoffs, because it was quite a scuffle there in September.
Tomlinson the batter, and the delivery a breaking ball a little bit low. Other than Melanson coming over, and also Hundley, those are really the major additions that the Giants made in the offseason. But the one acquiring Melanson would appear to be huge for them. He's been very quietly one of the best closers in the game in recent years, and the Giants bullpen last season had 30 blown saves, the most in the majors, and they lost 9 games last year, taking leads into the 9th inning.
Still made the playoffs.
Yeah.
Why? Because they won 5 out of the last 6. I mean, it came down to the very end. They ended up getting it done, getting that wild card. Eventually then beating the Mets and Noah Syndergaard
Here's a chopper hit on the right side. Could be two. Flip the second one. Relay to first. It is in time, and that's how the inning went. Just what the doctor ordered there for Petit. A double play ball goes 4-6-3 to end the inning. So the Giants held off the scoreboard here in the top of the fourth. The bottom of the inning is coming up as we go there. It's 2-1 Angels on the Angels Baseball Radio Network and Fox Sports West. Pitching change for the Giants. Samuel Coonrod will take over. He replaces Matt Reynolds, who only faced one batter. Came in, got out of the bases loaded jam last inning. And so they will already bring in their fourth pitcher of the day as the Angels get ready to bat here in the bottom of the fourth, up 2-1. Nolan Fontana is the hitter, and here's the first pitch from Coonrod, and that one is low and inside. It misses for ball one. It's 1 ball, no strikes. Right-hander going for San Francisco. And here's the next pitch. Cut and a ball fouled off on the left side. That one's going to get back and out of play.
As we were talking about the Giants here, Terry, pre-All-Star, they were 57-33. And then after the All-Star break, they were 30-42. Terrific month of May. They went 21-8, leading the NL West for a while.
Now, they had the best record in the majors at the All-Star break last year. They were 57-33 record. That was #1 in the majors, and then had a tough time after that, but got hot, as Jose mentioned, right around the final week or so of the season.
Yeah, they won 5 out of the last 6. Swept the Dodgers in the last 4 games straight. And St. Louis right behind them on their heels the last couple of weeks of the season. Missed the wild card by 1 game as the Mets and the Giants advanced.
Count is full. It's 3 balls, 2 strikes. And here's the next pitch. That's another one fouled back right behind the plate. Sam Coonrod, who's pitching for San Francisco. Last name is spelled C-O-O-N-R-O-D. And he was a 5th round pick by the Giants back in 2014 out of Southern Illinois University. Here's the pitch. Fly ball lifted down the left field side. Williamson chasing in foul ground. Slides but can't make the grab. It's a foul ball down in that left field corner. So Still a full count, 3-2. With the Giants having the other game in Scottsdale today, they have a lot of players there as well, so they have kind of had to fill a couple of rosters for their 2 games today, split squad day for them, so they have a lot of minor league players here today. Here's the pitch. That's grounded on the right side and through. That's a base hit. Good at bat there for Fontana. He fouled off a number of 2-strike pitches and gets a 2-strike single to start the inning off.
That's a great feeling. Fight it off, fight those tough ones, cover the play, shorten things up, a little choking up with the bat, and much better bat control, and something he could handle so well. And the Giants are projecting, of course, Bumgarner as the horse. Johnny Cueto, a little late because of his father's health issues back in the Dominican Republic. Samardzija, Matt Cain threw last night, and boy, how much would they welcome a healthy Matt Cain back on that mound.
Cain has had some very good years in the past for the Giants, but just 4 wins for them a year ago.
Only able to make 17 starts for them last season.
At the plate, Fletcher, and he takes that one inside for a ball. Another acquisition they made last season, and a key one from a pitching standpoint was Matt Moore.
Yes.
Came over from the Rays and fit in nicely in their rotation, and he's still under control for a few more years with San Francisco. There goes the runner. The pitch is missed. Throw down to second, and that throw is going to gun down the base runner Fontana. Boy, Trevor Brown has really looked good behind the plate today.
Trevor Brown, no panic at all, as I mentioned earlier when he threw the first runner out. He squares his arm so well, lining up with those shoulders, and receives, transfers, and just makes a solid effort. Not overthrowing the baseball, but very accurate.
So panic on the receiving end of that caught stealing, and the Angels have had a couple of runners thrown out at second base today as the next pitch to Fletcher is fouled back on the right side out of play.
It was an attempted hit and run. And so far the Angels have put on 3 hit and runs today, and they have not been able to either put the ball in play or to get the runner to advance at all.
Fletcher takes ball 2. It's 2 balls and 2 strikes. 2-1 Angels, bottom of the 4th inning here in Tempe. On a windy Thursday afternoon in the Valley, and the next pitch popped foul, backing out of play. A lot of foul balls so far against Coonrod. Eric Young Jr., the leadoff man today, waiting on deck. Angels will have another home game here tomorrow against the Brewers. We could see some of the regulars back in there, and there's a bouncing ball through the left side in between Hill and Tomlinson, and it bounces on out to Williamson, the left fielder. Another hit for Fletcher. It's his first one today, but a guy who has been really getting on base a lot so far in the early Cactus League. Angels have had 2 hits in the inning, but 1 out, 1 on, and it brings up Eric Young Jr.
Well, base runners are not missing for the Angels at all. 2 base runners in the first inning, 1 in the second, multiple base runners, 5 after 2 outs in the third, and here we go, 2 base runners so far this inning, and 1's aboard with 1 out. I love to see a straight steal. Fletcher can really run.
16 steals in the minors last year. Here's a little tapper that hit off of the batter Young, and the ball bounces out near the mound. Foul ball.
Take a closer look, Terry, as how far Fletcher gets out there. Seems like he was not ready, not in a good position. Kind of rushed out to get that lead. And of course, Eric Young Jr. swinging at the first pitch. But no, he was not running.
Here's the next pitch, cut and a miss. 0-2.
Just like his dad, Eric Young, he can run. Father made a nice career. Second baseman came up through the Dodgers system. And Terry, one of the original Colorado Rockies. EY.
Yep, senior. So the count is 0-2 on Eric Young Jr. here as he squares off against Sam Coonrod. And the next delivery, it's fouled back behind the plate. Dan Revere waiting on deck. He's been on base today. Revere's been getting on base a lot here in the early going when he's been in the lineup. C.J. Cron will follow. Cron's had a pair of hits today. There's a pitch that misses on Young. So it's a 1-2 count. Angels a perfect 5-0 in the Cactus League so far, and leading this one by a run here, 2-1 in the fourth. Toss over to first. Fletcher diving back. See what the Angels do pitching wise when we get to the fifth inning. Velasco went 2. Yusmeiro Petit has pitched 2 innings. We'll probably have a new pitcher coming in, and the next delivery, it's chopped by the mound. The pitcher's glove goes flying off his hands. Ball fielded by the shortstop. Tomlinson goes to the bag at second himself and throws to first base to double up the batter Young, and that's how the inning will end. Angels hit into a double play here to wrap up the fourth. Fifth inning is next. It's 2-1 Angels on the Angels Baseball Radio Network and Fox Sports West. Here in the fifth inning, Yusmeiro Petit will stay back out there on the mound. His third inning of work. Gorkis Hernandez is the batter for San Francisco. First pitch lifted in the air down the right field side. A long run for Flores towards the line. Can't get to it. It drops in a fair ball. Going into second base is Hernandez. Makes a big turn, and he'll hold there with a leadoff double. So the Giants center fielder, first ball swinging, starts it off with an extra base hit. And that is their first of the day.
What a nice job waiting in that ball to travel a little bit and knowing that Petit will cut it or run it back out over the plate with that fastball. Gorkis knows very well, fellow countryman, and what Petit was trying to do there, and he was not fooled at all. Strong hand and driving the ball against the wind out there to that corner in right field.
So here's Nunez, who's hit the ball hard twice, 2 lineouts. Their leadoff batter, and the pitch, and he bounces this one right up the middle. Out behind second and stopped by Fontana. His throw to first in time. And moving to third on the ground out will be Hernandez. Fans, don't forget to join the Angels for spring training here at Tempe Diablo Stadium on March the 24th. Angels will take on the Mariners that day, and fans will enjoy a post-game concert performance by Gavin DeGraw. Visit angels.com/promotions to purchase your tickets today. So Panic's at the plate. The Angels haven't gotten him out today. The infield has been brought in. Panic has singled and scored the lone Giants run. He's also walked. And here's the first pitch. He takes right in there. That pitch called strike. The count 0-1.
It's an ideal situation for a guy like Joe Panic. Puts the ball in play, hits the ball everywhere, shoots a lot of balls through the infield. It is perfect for him. So many open holes with the infield in here.
Next one on Panic. And that pitch is a ball, and the count even up 1 ball, 1 strike.
Panic, Terry, as simple as it comes when it comes down to mechanics, hitting approach, pitch selection. And it would be fun to watch him in a healthy season, full season, see what he can do.
He's a good contact hitter, doesn't strike out a whole lot. In fact, he had more walks than strikeouts last year. The count on Panic, and here's the next delivery, a little bit low and away. So 2 balls, 1 strike. Tate's allowed 4 hits so far in 2 1/3 innings. At the moment, though, he has not allowed any runs, but he's in some trouble here with that runner at third, 1 out. Next pitch. That's lined and caught by Cron, the first baseman, right across from the bag. That play there saves a run. Boy, he couldn't have hit the ball any harder.
See how wrong I was? I said there's a lot of holes out there. He's going to find one.
He didn't find one there.
Great job, C.J. Cron again to the first baseman. Left-handed batter. You're not going to be in such a hurry to be cutting the distance down unless you have a guy that perhaps likes to drop one down once in a while. But for Cron, having the extra distance separation from home plate allows him to make that play.
I wonder what the exit velocity was on that one.
That was pretty good.
That ball was on Cron before he could even blink. But to his credit, he was watching and he made the play. So 2 outs now. Still the runner at third. The pitch low. Good block on it by the catcher Maldonado. It's 1 ball, no strikes on Aaron Hill, who's gone 2 for 2. He had a hit against Nolasco, and he's already had a hit against Petit.
Aaron Hill, a veteran player, of course, as Terry mentioned, trying to make the team minor league contract. Also in camp, and the Giants want to take a good look at him at second base. His former NL MVP, Jimmy Rollins.
Yeah. Here's the next delivery, a lazy fly ball into right center field. Somebody should take charge here. It's going to be the right fielder Flores. He'll make the catch, and the inning is over. So they waste the leadoff double. They had that runner at third with 1 out and fail to score. Good job by Petit. He's probably done for the day now. And as we move to the bottom of the 5th, Angels still up 2-1 here against San Francisco on the Angels Baseball Radio Network and Fox Sports West. Have a few changes here for the Giants. We'll get to those in just a moment. The new pitcher is Joan Gregorio, and he will be taking over for Sam Coonrod, who worked last inning. Coonrod did give up a couple of hits, but got out of some trouble with a double play ball. Scoreless inning for him. Angels up 2-1 as we start the bottom of the fifth. At the plate is Ben Revere. Showed signs of bunting and takes the pitch for ball one. Jay Huang is the new third baseman, and here's the pitch. There is a bunt, and that one is fouled off over near that third baseman, creeping in for strike on that one. It's 1-1.
It's the best way to do it. Fair foul. You're going to be thinking about just being very perfect there, and if it misses out, you still only have one strike. There's a danger of bunting with one out, with one strike, I should say.
And there's a pitch taken for a strike. Here's the next delivery, and that one is a little bit low. The new second baseman is Uni Karakuto. So that's it for the changes defensively for the Giants. New second baseman, new third baseman, and new pitcher. The 2-2 on Revere, and a little bit high. It misses for a ball. 3 balls, 2 strikes. And Revere has scored one of the Angel runs today. Next delivery, and that one on the 3-2 misses, and Revere has a leadoff walk. Second time he's walked in the ball game. Overall, 4 walks issued by Giants pitching. C.J. Cron will be the next batter. Gregorio, who's on the mound, he is a big right-hander. They list him well over 6 foot tall, and he goes about 6'7". 24 years old.
Yeah, very noticeable all the way up here at 6'7". All arm too.
There's a pitch that's low and outside. He was a good strikeout pitcher last year between AA and AAA at 152 strikeouts in 134 plus innings. So a good arm.
He's considered one of their prospects. He's been in professional baseball since 2010.
And here's the next pitch. That's lifted in the air in a shallow center field. Coming in a few feet under, making the grab on it, is Quirkes Hernandez. So Cron is retired for the first time today. Luis Valbuena, who's doubled in a run, will be the next Angel batter.
For Gregorio, he stands out there. One thing the Giants know he can do is prevent damage, and he does not allow a lot of base hits in this minor league career. Even though he does have a 35-34 record, ERA at 4 through 7 seasons, he's only allowed 526 hits in 574 innings. Along with that, 553 strikeouts.
Here goes the runner. Pitches high, throw down to second, and waiting with the tag is the shortstop Tomlinson, and that is the third base runner today that Trevor Brown has thrown out. Boy, he has been impressive. What a quick release.
Oh, and think about it. He just positions himself so nicely as he receives the baseball that the transfer just automatic, nice flow right to the bag. A little tail at the very end, but he places it right in that area.
The pitch, and that is cut on a miss. And we mentioned it earlier. He was the backup catcher last year, but they did sign Nick Hundley. So you got to wonder if the Giants are going to carry 3 catchers.
Well, sometimes in the National League, you can afford to do that, especially if Hundley or Posey himself goes out there and plays a little bit of first base. Why not carry those 3 guys?
Here's Valbuena lining one down the right side, and that's going to roll all the way out to the 360 side, and he will cruise into second with a 2-out double. So he's doubled his last 2 times up. Angels have a base runner at second with 2 away. That's going to be it for Valbuena. He's going to be lifted for a pinch runner.
Valbuena slowed down on first base. Mike Scioscia. See Valbuena swinging the bat so well throughout the spring and continues to drive the baseball.
The new pinch runner up from minor league camp is Hutton Moyer, and he is the son of Jamie Moyer.
Jamie Moyer. He's got a large family.
Yeah.
Good to see young Hutton out there.
Yeah. And he has a big lead off of second base, the pitch, and that is a pitch that is taken for strike 1 by Marte.
One of the best out there and tricking you. Terry, large family, beautiful family, truly involved with the communities and charity work. Jamie Moore and his wife, and a long career.
Yeah, Jamie Moyer was around well into his 40s pitching in the big leagues. A pitch, and that one is a pitch that is taken and missed on Marte. So 1 ball, 1 strike. Infield is backed up. The Angels lead at 2-1. We're in the bottom of the 5th inning. Here's the next pitch, and a swing and a miss. Marte went chasing after that pitch.
A little reminder, as I hear a verbal reminder from hitting coach Paul Sorrento and Dave Hansen on Marte on slowing down. This part of the staff, as typically it is here in spring training, sits outside the dugout.
Counts 1 ball, 2 strikes, and the next pitch, Marte checking on that one, a little bit low and away.
So what's slowing down mean? Well, you're rushing through with your hands. You're committing too early. Perhaps sometimes your stride is too long. Spread out. Slow it down. Let that ball get in there. Don't need to jump at it. The intent is for the pitcher to throw it over the plate or close to it.
There's the 2-2. Marte is going to take that one, and that one broke in there for a called 3rd strike. Gets him looking. So that's how the inning went. Angels will leave a runner at second. 5 in the books. The 6th is coming up. Angels still leading the Giants by a run. 2-1 on the Angels Baseball Radio Network and Fox Sports West. Angels made a lot of changes as we get ready to move to the top of the 6th inning. 2-1 Halos. Matt Theis is the new Angel first baseman. Sherman Johnson is the new second baseman. Caleb Cowart, the new third baseman. Hutton Moyer stays in the game. He's playing shortstop. In left field is Michael Hermosillo. And the new pitcher is Big Brooks Pounders. And the first pitch, that one is fouled back behind the plate. 0-1 is the count. Jared Parker at the plate. Parker has an RBI, the only one for the Giants today. Came on a fielder's choice in the first inning. And the next pitch, he lifts this one in the air into right field. Flores hardly has to move. He'll squeeze it for the out. I was mentioning earlier when Parker batted in this ball game, he's trying to win a spot out there in the outfield. He's playing right field, but left field is the spot that's open as far as the Giants outfield configuration, and they have a number of players bidding for that spot. And that spot out there in left field has been one that has been kind of a black hole, if you will, for the Giants for a long time. Since Barry Bonds left, they've had 9 different opening day left fielders.
No, the Angels can relate to that too. Yeah. Left field. And we're talking about who? Everyday GA Garrett Anderson. Since his departure, what that's been like.
There's a pitch on the outside corner. It's a called strike on Marrero. 1-2 the count.
By the way, Barry Bonds, who was hitting coach for the Marlins last year, is not back.
Right. And the 1-2 pitch. Pounders, big guy, misses with that fastball to count 1 ball, 1 strike. We've seen Pounders pitch already this spring for the Angels. And here's the next delivery. That one is low away. Pounders is on the Angels 40-man roster, and he was acquired from the Royals back in December. Spent a little bit of time with Kansas City a year ago, most of last season pitching in AAA.
Yeah, big man with heavy stuff, a lot of life.
Here's the pitch. It was a high fly ball that's lifted deep into left field and gone. Chris Marrero. Well, the last time he was up, he thought he might have hit a home run. This one does leave the ballpark, and that has tied up the game at 2.
It's impressive. The ball really jumps off of his bat. Just talking about Pounders and that heavy stuff he throws. Well, when it flattens out, it doesn't matter how heavy it is and how hard it is. But for Chris Marrero, well, you talk about Terry on the fly changing your launch angle. That's exactly what he did here. Hit a towering shot that looked like a home run earlier in the game. Caught right at the wall, and this is a screaming line drive out of here.
So at the plate following Marrero is Williamson, and the first delivery in there for strike 1. Pounders ready on the next pitch. That one is outside. It missed. 1-1 the count. We'll give you Yusmeiro Petit's numbers in just a moment. He worked the last 3 innings for the Angels. He gave up 4 hits, no runs. And along the way, he did not, well, let's see, he ended up walking 1, and he did not strike out any.
Well, and so far, Petit is the one Angels pitcher who has gone out there for the longest stretch. 3 innings today, and he already threw 2 innings in his first outing.
Here's the next one from Pounders. That's fouled off on the right side, backing out of play. One and 2 the count. Pounders was ready to come in, and then time was called by the home plate umpire Kerwin Danley. Here's the next delivery, and that one is lifted foul on the right side. It's backing out of play, so count holding. It's 1 ball, 2 strikes. Here's the next pitch, chopped on the right side. Diving stop by Johnson, gets up, throws, and he will get him at first base. Nicely done there by the new second baseman, Sherman Johnson. Williamson doesn't run all that well, and a little faster runner might have beat that one out, but still a good play by Sherman Johnson for out number 2.
I think at one point Sherman Johnson thought that ball was hit harder than it actually was. It was a good job stretching out. That ball picking up a little bit of speed once it hit that dirt side and scooped it up and made a quick throw.
So here's Trevor Johnson, or Trevor Brown, I should say, at the plate, and the first pitch to him is a ball. The count one ball, no strikes. Brown 1 for 2 at the plate, and he's thrown out 3 base runners trying to steal.
He's had a nice day all the way around. Also very solid receiving and presenting the framework to the umpire. Current one down there behind the plate.
Pounders has a new baseball. He's at the count even here on Brown, and the 1-1 popped in the air into shallow right field, not very deep at all. Flores towards the line is under. He will make the grab on it, and that's how the inning will end. The Giants do tie it up with the solo homer by Marrero, and as we move to the bottom of the 6th, we're tied at 2 on the Angels Baseball Radio Network and Fox Sports West.
By using
Couple of changes for the Giants before the Angels get ready to bat here. We go to the bottom of the 6th inning. They have a new right fielder, Austin Slater, and they also have a new pitcher, and Kyle Crick will be taking over in relief, and he will be pitcher number 6 of the day for them. Gregorio worked last inning and did not allow any runs in his 1 inning. He did give up a hit. He also walked one and struck out a batter. So a scoreless inning for him. Kyle Crick, the new pitcher. Martin Maldonado, the Angels catcher, will be the first batter up. Maldonado today has a walk in the ball game, officially 0 for 1. He struck out his first time up, and the first delivery misses for a ball. Let's pause for stations to identify themselves on the Angels Baseball Radio Network. Next pitch from Crick was ball 2. It missed. 2 balls and no strikes. Kyle Crick is a former first-round pick of the Giants back in 2011. And here's one that's fouled off on the right side, backing out of play. Crick has a good arm, fastball, top out around 98. Very good slider. He'll throw a curve and changeup. Pitched in Double-A last year. Numbers weren't all that good, however. 4 wins, 11 losses. 23 starts with an ERA of just over 5. And here's the pitch. That's on the outside part of the plate. A called strike. 2-2. Crick has had command issues in the past. Some people have compared him to Matt Cain, longtime starter for these Giants.
And a workhorse for so many years for San Francisco.
Yep. There's a pitch that's low and away. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Crick is a pretty big guy, goes about 6'4". Time requested by Maldonado, the batter. He gets it from the home plate umpire Kerwin Danley, so it's a full count, 3-2. See what happens on the payoff delivery, and here it comes. It's way low and outside. A fastball misses. Leadoff walk. Angels have had a few walks today. Giants pitching, issuing 5 in this game, and we're only in the 6th inning. And Ramon Flores will be the next hitter.
Kyle Crick, because of control issues back in 2015, the Giants moved into the bullpen in Double-A Richmond. And Terry, the reason they gave him was control issues. Go out there and get some command. He had 66 walks in 63 innings. Huh? 66 walks in 63 innings. And then last year back as a starter, 23 starts at Double-A Richmond.
He has a good arm, power arm, and he throws hard. Here's the pitch. That's on the outside part of the plate. That's a called strike on Flores.
So let's give the guy credit. Along with those 66 walks and those 63 innings back in 2015, he had 73 punch-outs. He reduced the amount of walks last year. He had 67 in 109 innings, along with 86 strikeouts.
He's walked the first batter he's faced here today, and he misses with that pitch. Told him Matt Williams is the shortstop for the Angels. Originally we were told it was Hutton Moyer staying in the game at that position, but that is not the case. 2-2 is the count here on Flores. Crick kind of living up to his reputation here. He walked the first batter. He has worked a 2-2 count here to the second batter in the inning, and the next pitch. And there's a cut and a miss, and down on strikes goes Flores. Might have chased the pitch a little bit high, but a good fastball nonetheless gets him, struck him out for out number 1. I want to remind you, the bottom of the 6th inning, it's being brought to you today by our friends at Rotolo Chevrolet in Fontana. Rotolo Chevrolet, pursuing excellence every day. Visit them at rotolo.com. That's rotolo.com.
Taylor, I'm following your lead there. You say Rotolo keeps getting better, so I'm going with you. Keeps getting better.
Demand excellence at Rotolo Chevrolet. 1 ball, no strikes.
By the way, your celebration's making the round, so celebrate. That's catching on, Terry.
There you go, Hosey.
Use it.
Stella Rosa Wines, you can see them at the Big A this season. Here's one bounce back to the mound. The throw to second for 1. The relay to first, and that is in time for a double play. So after the leadoff walk, only 2 more batters stepped up to the plate for the Angels, and the inning is over on the comebacker double play ball. That'll do it for the Angels here in the 6th. The 7th is next. 2-2 Angels and Giants on the Angels Baseball Radio Network and Fox Sports West. Here we go to the 7th inning, and Brooks Pounder still on the mound for the Angels. He's the pitcher of record. He was tagged for a home run last inning. The batter is Kelby Tomlinson, who's gone all the way at short so far today for the Giants. First pitch of ball, and the next one it's fouled off over on the right side, backing out of play. We'll check out some action for you in just a moment as far as the Cactus League and Grapefruit League. Dodgers and Indians are playing. They're in the 7th inning, 2-1 Dodgers. Meantime, the Reds looking to win their first in the Cactus League. They have a 4-1 lead in the 7th against the Cubs. The other Giants split squad playing the White Sox, and Chicago leads that one 6-2 in the 5th. Kansas City has a 3-1 lead in the 8th inning against Colorado. Oakland is blanking Texas 5-0. That game is in the 6th inning. Here's the next pitch, and that's in there, and the count now 2 balls and 2 strikes on Tomlinson. D-backs are up on the Padres 6-1. That game is in the 6th inning. And we'll check out the Grapefruit League in just a moment. A lot of finals there in Florida today. There's a pitch a little low for a ball. So a full count. Cards over the Braves 9-2. Washington clobbered the Astros 13-1. Boston clobbered Tampa Bay 19-2. Pittsburgh over Detroit 11-1. A lot of lopsided games in the Grapefruit League, and the pitch lined into right center on a 3-2 delivery, and that one is going to bounce between the outfielders and get out to the wall. Tomlinson is headed for third, and he will get there without a relay throw. So that ball got in between Young and Flores and bounced all the way out to the wall in right center, and that is a leadoff triple. Marquis Hernandez will be the next batter. The rest of the Grapefruit League, Twins and Orioles played 10 innings. Neither team won. It ended up in a 6-6 tie. Phillies in Toronto played 9 innings. 8-8 was the final. Mets beat Miami 11-6. A little bit later on, the Yankees will host Baltimore. And there's also going to be another Cactus League game later tonight, and that'll be the Cubs and D-backs playing a split squad game later on this evening. And there's a line shot off the batter. Hernandez out of the reach of Williams, the shortstop, into left center. That'll score a run. Hustling into second base, the batter Hernandez, his second double of the ball game, and the Giants have a 3-2 lead.
Marquis Hernandez himself, who got some time with the Giants last year, hit .259, a couple of home runs and part-time work. A valuable bench piece for Bruce Bochy. He's out of Venezuela.
So Miguel Gomez, a switch hitter, will come in to pinch hit here. He's going to bat for Nunez, who was the DH and leadoff man. He was 0 for 3 today. Gomez in the minors, 17 homers, 67 driven in, .330 batting average last year. So the Angels behind by a run now, and the pitch, fly ball lifted into right center field, hit pretty well. Making the catch on it will be Flores, and tagging at second and moving on to third base will be Hernandez. So that's the first out, deep enough to get that runner over a base. Want to remind Angel fans to get your red on. The 20-game flex plan offers a variety of options to choose from. Opening night, premium matchups, and promotional giveaway nights. Buy your flex plan today at angels.com/ticket plan or call 714-4-ANGELS. Caracudo will get ready to bat his first time up. Uni Caracudo, and here's the pitch. He takes that one high. 1 ball, no strikes. Caracudo came into the ball game to play second base. He's hitting out a panic spot. He went 1 for 2 this afternoon. Here's the 1-0 pitch, lifted in the air into left center field. This looks like it's deep enough to get the runner in. Making the grab will be Eric Young Jr. Tagging at third base for the Giants, and scoring is Hernandez. It'll be a sac fly in San Francisco now, doubling up the Angels. It's 4-2.
We've got some young guys coming in here doing a great job after
Tomlinson, the triple. Dorkis Hernandez, a hustle double. And then Gomez off the bench. Situational hitting, line drive, moving the guy over. Easy line out to right field. Now Kurakuto comes in. Of course, going out there and having an idea that Pounders has been working up in the zone. The contact and hard contact has not been hard to make.
So at the plate is Jae Hwang, South Korean, who's trying to win a spot on the Giants opening day roster, playing some third base in this ball game, and the first pitch on him in there for a called strike. Hit over 100 home runs in 10 years playing in South Korea. 285 batting average there. Had a huge year last year in South Korea, and he lines that one into left field for a base hit. So they have another runner on base here in this inning. Pounders has given up 3 runs since coming into the game last inning. They've had 3 hits against them in this inning, a single, double, and triple.
As common as the line drives have been, unfortunately, for Pounders, the most common thing here is where you can see the catcher's glove as the ball is approaching home plate, and how easy it has been for the hitters because everything has been around or above the belt.
So Hwang is leading off first base. Can run a little bit. He had 24 steals last year in South Korea, and they pitch on Austin Slater, who's batting for the first time. He takes it for a strike.
Probably the best located pitch we've seen from Pounders here this inning. The first fastball in the outer half there to the batter, Slater.
Slater is hitting out of Jared Parker's spot in the batting order. Toss over to first base. Diving back to the bag goes the base runner over there, Hwang. Right-hander against right-hander. Pounders bluffing the runner back to first. One player we've yet to see who the Giants brought here today, Jacob Hayward, and he is the younger brother of Jason Hayward of the Cubs.
That's right. Great bloodlines along the youngster.
Yep, prospect in the Giants system. Jason Hayward. Or Jacob Hayward, should say. There's a toss over to first base. Snap throw there. Back to the bag goes the base runner, Hwang.
There's also a young kid from Southern California I like to see is Brandon Van Horn. He's in the dugout, wearing number 76.
Infielder in the Giants system.
Went to the Masters College. Terry, he's been swinging a bat in that dugout for about 5 innings.
He's itching to get in,
Let's
Jose.
get him in there.
There's a chopper hit to third, fielded by Cowart. His throw to first is going to be in time, and that will wrap things up. So in the inning, it ends on the 5-3 ground out. Slater is retired, and that's it for San Francisco. So we are ready to move to the bottom of the seventh inning stretch time. Angels down by a couple. It's now 4-2 San Francisco on the Angels Baseball Radio Network and Fox Sports West. Angels bat bottom of the 7th, trailing 4-2. Caleb Coward is the hitter. He's hitting out of David Fletcher's spot. This is Coward's first at bat of the day. Fletcher, who left the ball game, was 1 for 2, and the next pitch on Coward, that's in there from the new pitcher Carlos Alvarado. The Giants also have a new catcher, Matt Wynn. So no balls, 2 strikes to count here on Coward. Here's the next pitch. He lines one into right center. That's going to drop in for a base hit. Leadoff single for the Angels third baseman, starting things off here in the bottom of the 7th inning. I want to remind Angel fans to get your red on and become a season seat holder to enjoy exclusive benefits and the same seats all season long at the greatest value. Visit angels.com/season seats or call 714-4ANGELS for more info.
Caleb Coward comes in and play a little defense and swings the bat very well. Terry, that revamped swing, I hope that continues to show results for Caleb Coward after much tinkering through the years.
There's the first delivery here on Eric Young Jr., and he is taking a called strike.
In fact, for Coward, now running at first base, has been pretty much from the setup of laying the bat down on his shoulder to not having him be as rigid as he goes through the zone and begins his swing.
Next pitch, and that's another one taken by Young, so he's taking a pair of strikes. 0-2 is the count.
Big power numbers here for Alvarado. Minor league career, averaging well over a strikeout an inning.
Here's the right-hander's pitch, and that's low. Good stop there by the new catcher as Matt Wynn was able to smother that one. No advancement by Coward.
Through 7 seasons in the minor leagues, Alvarado was never pitched in the majors. Has a 1.09 whip.
He's ready. Here's the 1-2. Young chops that one foul over by the Angels dugout.
This young man spent 4 years, Terry, 4 different seasons in rookie ball.
Took a long time for him to get out of rookie ball, but here he is pitching for the major league club today. And the next one on Eric Young. He swings at that pitch and fouls it off, so he stays alive. And the count remains 1 ball, 2 strikes. The lead is seesawed back and forth a little bit here today. Giants had a 1-0 lead, and the Angels took a 2-1 lead. Giants tied it at 2 last inning in the 6th, and got 2 more here in the 7th, and they're up 4-2. Here's the next delivery on Young. He swings at another pitch and fouls that one off on the left side, backing out of play.
Alvarado throws strikes. Last season in Richmond, his last stop in Double-A. 16 games, 19 in the 3rd innings. No walks, along with 24 punch-outs. That was a 0.67 whip, only allowing 13 hits also.
There's the next delivery, and that's a breaking pitch and missed inside. 2-2.
Any impression, Terry, from him after so much seasoning, as we spoke about in minors, and seeing that he's progressed nicely through the system? Originally a Detroit Tiger in their organization. Well, National League, more pitching changes, so Bruce Bochy not afraid to give young pitchers a chance. You impress, he throws strikes, and you're going to have a chance.
Alvarado is making his first appearance this spring for the Giants. Young has come back to run the count full against him. We'll see what happens on the 3-2 delivery, and here it comes. Fouled back just above the booth, upstairs and out of play.
Not ready for that yet. There's no glove up here.
Yeah, you're usually pretty good at catching those foul balls back to the booth, Jose.
I'm all right. I'm not very good if I need a glove, Terry. Right? If I need a glove, I'm not very good at it.
I've seen you make a lot of plays back in the booth. 3-2, runner goes, pitch outside. So a single and now a walk to start off the inning as the Angels have the tying runner on at first base, nobody out. Sherman Johnson will bat. He's hitting out of Ben Revere's #2 spot. This is Johnson's first at bat of the afternoon.
He's a young player the Angels are hoping will turn the corner for them. He has been seen around Major League camp here for the last couple of years.
Sure has. So Johnson digs in.
That's the ability to get on base.
And he's around the bun, at least shows signs of bunting, ends up taking the pitch for ball 1.
Well, there's a big hole in that shortstop area. Mike Scioscia getting the young players to implement some of these drills and see how they respond to this type of pressure here.
Next pitch, Johnson was showing bunt again. Left-handed batter, he takes that one again, and the pitch missed for a ball, so the count 2-0. And that brings the catcher Matt Wynn out there to try and settle down Carlos Alvarez, and this is first spring outing for the Giants. Third baseman creeping in. Wong, and the pitch. There's a bunt. Good one on the third base side. This is a tough play to throw to first, and the ball pops off the glove of the first baseman. A run is going to score. Everybody's safe, and runners at the corners. So the Angels down 4-3. Good bunt right there by Johnson.
Yes, it was. Nice execution. Got himself a 2-0 count. Like Scioscia decides, let's stick with the bunt. Take these young players to work on it. And put it in a very nice spot. Tough play for the third baseman coming in. What would have been a base hit no matter what. But, of course, it turns also into an error.
Yeah, we'll see how that's scored. In case the Angels have scored a run, Coward ends up coming in all the way from second, so there won't be an RBI on it. And the pitch, that one is high and away, and this is Matt Thaiss at the plate. His first at bat today. He's hitting out of Cron's #3 spot. CJ was 2 for 3. So they're going to give Johnson a sacrifice bunt. No RBI, and then an error on the first baseman for not holding on to the throw.
Would have been safe at first. To me, that's a base hit.
Yeah, I mean, they could have given him a hit. It could have been hit and error.
Of course.
It was definitely not an RBI hit. The error certainly factored into the run scoring, but yeah, he could have easily gotten a hit on that. There's a pitch in there for a called strike.
You know, we spoke about Matt Thaiss and what we've seen from him, Terry. He looks like a guy that's polished. And we know he is in terms of his college days and his debut in professional baseball. But he's got presence. He's calm. Gives you a good at-bat. Connects the ball very well. With a nice recognition and knowledge of the strike zone.
There goes the runner at first. The pitch that's lined into right field. That's going to fall in and tie up the ball game. Thaiss delivers an RBI single. The Angels' first-round pick from last June, and moving first to third on that one is Sherman Johnson, who now represents the go-ahead run. So the Angels have tied it and are certainly threatening to regain the lead.
A great eye and great presence that he has at home plate allows him to get himself into good hitters counts, and then after that, of course, he's ready to pull the trigger as he's forcing pitchers more and more to come into the zone, and he does a good job. That bat stays flat through that zone for a long time. With a converted catcher out of Virginia.
So Matt Williams is the batter. This is his first time up. This is Valbuena's spot. And the first pitch taken for a strike. Seeing Williams get into some ball games late in games. He's had a few at bats for the Angels so far this spring. The hit here gives the Angels a lead. Fly ball deep enough to the outfield, and showing signs of bunting there was Williams. He ends up taking the pitch for a ball. 1-1. Mike Scioscia will squeeze.
Well, he will also safety squeeze, and that's where the runner, of course, does not have to break from third base. And so the Angels are working on that a lot here this morning, pushing that ball to the right side with a long bunt.
Toss over to first. Runner dives back to the bag. That's Theis.
And through the years, a safety squeeze, no teams have done it better than Joe Madden's teams.
Carlos Alvarado struggling in his first inning, and the pitch around the bunt was Williams. He takes ball 2. 2-1.
There was a safety squeeze try on that one. Got the right side of the infield, crash it in. Of course, they're anticipating when the runner is not going, he shows bunt. There's only one way he wants to go, and the batters push it down the right side.
And the next delivery, that one is taken by Williams. So the count level 2-2. Matt Williams played AAA for the Cardinals last year. Former 15th round pick of the Cardinals in 2011. Infielder, hit .263 last year for AAA Memphis. Count is even, and the 2-2 delivery. And here's a little shallow fly ball in the right center. We'll see if it's deep enough. The ball is carrying a bit. Tagging at third base and coming in to score on the sac fly will be the runner from third base, Sherman Johnson. Angels back on top 5-4. Now, we haven't seen the ball carry at all today, but that time it did a little bit. And it was deep enough, as it turned out, in right center for the runner to easily tag and score.
Very, very noticeable, Terry, because the wind is not blowing into this booth anymore. So a little shifting there, from now blowing from left across to right field and getting a little bit more carry, as you point out.
So the Angels have used a sac bunt and now a sac fly in this inning. 3 runs have scored in the inning. Angels with the lead, 5-4. 1 out in the inning. And here's Marte, who's gone all the way. He's been the DH, officially 1 for 2. Single walk strikeout. Placed the runner at first base, and the first delivery, that is taken, ball 1.
Now looking forward to seeing Matt Shoemaker tomorrow on the mound against Milwaukee and Junior Guerra. It was quite a surprise for the Brewers last year.
Sure was.
The Angels saw Guerra down in over in Milwaukee during the regular season interleague play.
Yeah, he was kind of a journeyman pitcher who burst onto the scene.
He has traveled the globe chasing a stream.
So 1 ball, no strikes on Marte. He hits one sharply on the left side. Nice diving stop by the shortstop. Flip to second one. Relay to first. A little bit low. Plus it popped off the glove of the first baseman over there. So they do get the out on Theis on the fielder's choice. That was a good play by Tomlinson, the shortstop. 2 outs. And now it looks like the Giants are going to make a pitching change, so that's going to be it for Alvarado. I mentioned this is his first appearance this spring. He had already thrown 27 pitches, so they're going to take him out. They'll go to the bullpen. We'll take a break. Angels up 5-4, still batting in the 7th on the Angels Baseball Radio Network and Fox Sports West. Have a number of changes, including a new pitcher, Dan Slania, on the mound for the Giants. Angels have a pinch hitter at the plate. And batting for the Angels right now is Tony Sanchez, and there's a new runner at first base for Marte, and that's a player up from minor league camp, Jared Foster. Here's the delivery, and Sanchez chases that one, fouls it off on the right side, backing out of play. So the count jumps to 0-2. Alvarado, who leaves the game, he went 2/3 of an inning, allowed a pair of hits. Right now 3 runs, walked a batter, didn't strike out anyone. Here's the next pitch on Sanchez, and that one is fouled off on the right side, out of play.
And just like that, Terry, Angels with 10 hits. Angels hitting, coming alive. First 3 games, they had a .202 average as a club. Last 2 games, over .360.
The Angels have had 3 straight games now, 10 or more hits. The pitch chopped down the third base side. It's fielded there by Huang, and his throw to second base will force out the pinch runner Foster, and the inning is over on the 5-4 fielder's choice. So the Angels come up with a total of 3 in the inning to regain the lead. The Angels had 2 hits. There was an error in the inning, and the Angels will leave 1 runner on base. The 8th is next. 5-4 Halos on the Angels Baseball Radio Network and Fox Sports West. Angels make a few changes. New pitcher is Mike Moore. New catcher is Tony Sanchez. New left fielder is Chad Henshaw. And Michael Hermosillo, who is playing left, is moved over to play center as Eric Young Jr. leaves the game. Henshaw will bat out of his leadoff spot. So that takes care of the paperwork here as we get ready to go to the 8th inning, and the Angels have a 5-4 lead. Want to remind you, join the Angels on April 7th and 8th for opening weekend. Angels and Seattle Mariners. Fans in attendance receive a wall calendar courtesy of U.S. Bank while supplies last. For more info, visit angels.com/promotions. Chris Marrero, who's gone all the way for the Giants today over at first base, will be the batter. And here's the first pitch from Warren. It's grounded right to second. Should be an easy play for Johnson. His throw will get him, and that's the first out. 4-3 on the ground out. Pounders, who worked the last couple of innings, even though he gave up 3 runs and 4 hits in 2 innings, he could be the winning pitcher if the Angels hold on to the lead. Pounders did allow a home run, and in his 2 innings did not walk or strike out anyone.
Hope to see his bullpen buddies come over here and pick him up.
So Morin ready to face his second hitter here in the 8th, and at the plate is Williamson, who's gone all the way so far today in left field. 1 for 3 day. Takes the first pitch for ball 1.
Mike Morin working himself back to that form that made him so efficient when he burst into the scene with the Angels.
There's a fastball. It's fouled off down the right side, backing out of play. So it's 1 ball, 1 strike.
Got a plus changeup. Morin first came up with the Angels in 2014. He immediately made 60 appearances with a 4-4 record back in 2014 and 2.90 ERA.
There's a fly ball lifted into right field. Chasing is Flores. Foul territory. He's going to run out of room. It's backing out of play. So 1 ball, 2 strikes.
2015 for Mike Morin. 47 games, 6.37 ERA as the league and the hitters got to know him a little bit more. And then 2016, 4.37 ERA.
Williamson with 2 strikes on him. He will strike out. We'll see if Morin can get him here. And the 1-2 delivery. Bounce back to the mound right by Morin. Might have even went between his legs as the ball rolls through into center field. So it's a 2-strike hit for Williamson. His second hit of the day. And the Giants have the potential tying run on with 1 out at first base. Matt Wynn, the new catcher, is going to bat for the first time this afternoon. Getting out a Trevor Brown spot. Right-handed hitter. And here's the pitch. It's tapped foul over on the third base side. When a player not on the Giants roster right now, making the trip here to Tempe. Split squad day for San Francisco. Another game's been going on against the White Sox. Angels will play the White Sox Saturday at Camelback Ranch. Here's the pitch, and that is a pitch that's on the outside corner. 0-2. That game on Saturday, the Angels still undecided as far as the starting pitcher. Could be Tyler Skaggs. We'll see.
It's all planning out now the way Mike Scioscia and Charles Nagy have it mapped out. Yesterday we saw Chavez. Today we see Nolasco. Tomorrow Shoemaker. So Terry, pick 2 more. Go ahead, pick them.
Oh, I would think the next 2 games after that, Saturday and Sunday, we could see Skaggs and Richards.
That's it.
But again, that's just purely speculation on our part, Jose.
Going to have a talk about that with manager Mike.
Yep. See if we can get some inside information.
Try.
There's one that's a little bit low. 2-2 is the count.
Oh, Mike Scioscia talked today, Terry, about the new modifications to the 2017 season with the rules. Of course, we touched upon it earlier on the intentional walk. Now it's going to be just a signal. Pitchers will not have to throw 4 pitches down. A 30-second limit also for manager to decide whether to challenge a play or invoke replay review. That's another one.
Yeah, so there won't be as much stalling by the managers. We've seen that a little bit. Posturing, if you will.
A prohibition on the use of any markers on the field that could create a tangible reference system for fielders. Out.
Here's the next pitch. That's fouled back behind the plate, out of play.
Amendment to Rule 5.03 requiring coaches, base coaches, to position themselves behind the line of the coach's box closest to home plate and the front line that runs parallel to the foul line prior to each pitch. Once the ball is put in play, a base coach is allowed to leave the coach's box to signal a player so long as the coach does not interfere with play.
Here's the next delivery, and that is a strike on the outside corner, and Wynn is out looking. So that's out number 2.
So
First
once again, Terry, the biggest change here is for the intentional walk, signal, and take a base.
I think it was, well, maybe a little over a week ago when the rumors were starting to fly around the Major League Baseball and the Players Union were in agreement to implement that rule when it first came out, but it seemed very possible that could go into effect for this season. There's a little bloop in his shallow right field. That's going to drop in for a base hit. Hustling in is Flores to throw it back to the infield. A single there by Tomlinson will move the lead runner Williamson over to third. They have him at the corners. And the Giants inning isn't over yet. And Gorky's Hernandez, who's had a solid day, will be the next batter. But when all the rumors were flying that this new rule, which today was announced by Major League Baseball, when it first came out as a rumor that it was going to happen, that same day, I guess there was a college baseball game that ended on an intentional walk wild pitch.
No reason to keep that theme alive, right?
Of all things, when all that started to break a week or so ago, a college game, the pitcher was intentionally walking a batter and threw one so outside on an intentional walk, it got by the catcher. There was a runner at third. The runner scored, and the game ended.
Well, coach and pitcher thinking, why didn't we have that rule?
Yeah. So here's Hernandez batting. We'll see if Morin can get him. Hit here would tie up this ball game. First pitch in there for a strike, and Hernandez has been a tough out. Back-to-back doubles his last 2 times up. Scored a run. He also has driven in a run. He doubled in a run last inning. Here's the 1-strike delivery that's waved at and missed. Talked about it before. A lot of Morin's mannerisms on the mound reminds you of Jonathan Papelbon. Kind of built along the same lines, and Papelbon hasn't been able to find any takers in the offseason. He isn't with any team right now.
There's some personal issues he's working through.
Yeah.
As is Jake Peavy himself.
Yeah.
Former Giant.
Here's the 0-2 pitch. That one is lifted in the air into left field, but they're waiting and squeezing it is the new left fielder, Chad Hinshaw, and Morin pitches out of the trouble. They leave a pair of runners on, including one at third base. A couple hits in the inning, but no runs. We are headed to the bottom of the 8th. Angels have a 5-4 lead on the Angels Baseball Radio Network and Fox Sports West. Angels will be batting in just a moment as we move to the bottom of the 8th inning. Another new pitcher for the Giants. Chase Johnson will take over. He is their 9th pitcher today, and keep in mind they have a split squad day, so they've had another team playing the White Sox today in a game in Scottsdale.
Well, remember with these longer spring training too, there's going to be a couple more off days in spring, so
yeah,
but the Giants will be needing one soon after, remember, split squad today and a night game against the Dodgers last night.
Here's the pitch, and it's a high pop. That is to the left of the mound. Coming in, making the catch almost behind the pitcher's mound is the shortstop Tomlinson. And that is out number 1 as Ramon Flores, who's played the whole game for the Angels, just had his 4th at bat. He's retired on the pop out, 1 away. Yeah, 9 pitchers. And if this game ever got tied and we had to go to the bottom of the 9th inning, they might have to use another pitcher. Who knows? They do have, just looking at the roster here, a couple more available that they've brought here today. First pitch fouled off, pitch off the bat of the Angels batter. And this is Hermosillo at the plate. His first at bat today. Michael Hermosillo's done a nice job in the time we've seen him this spring. He's hit a home run. Here's the next delivery, and he cuts it that one and fouls it off on the right side out of play.
Terry, I hope so. This young man who the Angels have seen develop into a more consistent hitter, understanding the game a little more, breaking it down a little bit more, applying his skills, a lot of natural skills for Hermosillo. Talk about the home run he hit. It was a laser shot out there in Sloan Park.
There's one that's way low and outside, and he got a big 2-out walk yesterday in that comeback win in the bottom of the 9th inning.
Yeah, extremely valuable for the young players, especially after success early. Yes, they drive the baseball, then not to get too consumed in that, but continue to play a full game. Hey, Terry, earn some more innings later on. Who knows?
Here's the pitch. That's chopped foul right by the batter's box. Jose, I understand that no matter what happens here today after the ball game, you'll be visiting with Angels third base coach Ron Renicky. Is that true?
Yes, we're going to give it a shot.
And I got some good information.
So, Terry, give me a good toss. So I'm going to ask you.
A question for Ron Renicky?
No, just give me a good toss. That's it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll try and get everything straight, Jose. That's the best I can do.
You have a question for him? I'll be more than happy to ask it for you.
I could maybe plant a little seed there with a question.
Hey, Ron knows the Valley so well, you know, having managed also the Brewers. Maybe some eating spots for you.
There's a pitch that's chopped on an easy hop to the shortstop, and the throw to first just nips Hermosillo. Boy, he was getting down the line. All-out hustle right there. Tomlinson's throw just nipped him. It was close.
You have to like that. We're talking about a young player getting into his game, understanding his game, and this ball chopped up the middle. Shortstop goes one step back, and that was the costly one as he's trying to set his feet to accommodate setting and making a throw, and Hermosillo hustling all the way. Loved seeing that.
So here's Coward at the plate. These spring training games, there are no challenges, so there's no instant replays on these games. But if that was a regular season game, Mike Scioscia might have wanted to take a second look at that one. Mighty close.
Wouldn't blame him. You remember a couple springs ago when we did have replay, and when there's the umpires, we had one umpire truck in the way, by the way, out in right field. Where
that was in the infancy when it all began. We were part of the program then, Jose.
Oh, they prepped us.
That's right.
They instructed us how it's going to be done, and then we had umpires rotating here in spring training where we see one umpire leave behind the right field wall to take his turn in the truck.
We might have been part of baseball history.
We'll take it.
Yeah,
sure.
First broadcast with instant replay in effect.
Quite a privilege.
We'll have to research that one. I think we might have been part of some baseball history.
Dana DeMuth, Jim Wolf, Bill Miller, Kerwin Danley, all of our friends around here.
Yep. There's a cut and a miss on a 1-2, and down on strikes goes Coward. So it's a 1-2-3 inning for Chase Johnson against the Angels here in the bottom of the 8th. That means we're headed to the 9th inning. The bottom of the 8th was brought to you by Rotolo Chevrolet in Fontana. Rotolo Chevrolet, pursuing excellence every day. Visit them at Rotolo.com. That's Rotolo.com. So the 9th inning is coming up. We'll see what the Angels end up doing pitching-wise. Someone's trotting in from the bullpen. And as we head to the 9th, Angels clinging to a 5-4 lead, trying to make it 6 in a row in the Cactus League on the Angels Baseball Radio Network and Fox Sports West. Here we go to the 9th inning, and Miguel Gomez is going to be the first batter up. Gomez has been up once today. The Angels have a new pitcher, Blake Parker. We've seen him work in a game this spring, and he is trying to come in and close this ball game, try and get a save. He replaces Mike Morin. And here's the pitch. Gomez bluffing bunt and ends up taking that one for a strike. Last inning, Morin was on the hill in the top of the 8th inning. Gave up 2 hits but no runs. Did not allow a walk and had a strikeout. Parker set, and the 0-1 pitch. Cut and a miss. Boy, Gomez did not look real comfortable with the swing at that one. And the count jumps to 0-2. Blake Parker spent time in the big leagues last year. 17 games. Split time in the majors with Seattle and the Yankees. Had a save. 1-0 record, 4.67 ERA. Fastball, good slider, a cutter and a change. And the next pitch, tried to work him inside with that hard stuff, and it missed. 1-2 the count. Let's pause for stations to identify themselves right here on the Angels Baseball Radio Network. Terry Smith, Jose Mota, and our producer-engineer Jorge Sevilla with you here from Tempe Diablo Stadium. 9th inning, Angels with a 5-4 lead. Gomez swings at the next pitch and fouls it off over by the Giants on deck circle. Jose is headed downstairs for the post-game visit. Today it'll be with Angels third base coach Ron Renicky. Today's attendance here at Tempe Diablo, a little bit more than yesterday, 3,824, 38-24. And the next delivery. And did he go after that one? Yes, he did. Trying to hold up, tied up in knots was Gomez. Struck him out. That was a good pitch right there. He had no idea what to try and do with it. And he goes down on strikes. So the next batter for the Giants is Karakuto. Uni Karakuto's had one at bat today. And the first delivery, that one is taken for ball one. Parker is ready. And the next pitch, that's chopped foul over near the Angels on deck circle. And the count is level. It's 1 ball, 1 strike. As Blake Parker works for the Angels, he's pitcher number 5 of the day. Nolasco 2 innings. Petit 3 innings. Pounders 2 innings. Moore in an inning. And now Parker trying to get 2 more outs here in the 9th. And there's a good off-speed pitch right there, cut on and missed. So the count's 1 ball, 2 strikes. Karakuto is from Venezuela and spent a little bit of time last year in the majors with Tampa Bay. There's the 1-2 delivery, and he is out looking, and he knew it. Struck him out. Couldn't pull the trigger on it. So here in the 9th inning, back-to-back strikeouts for Blake Parker. And that was a pitch. It was on the inside part of the plate. Good job of framing that one by the catcher, Tony Sanchez. One more out to go. And here's the first delivery. That's a good fastball, cut on and missed. Wong at the plate. Jae Wong, the South Korean. Very good baseball player in South Korea, trying to win a job here in the States. Veteran player, Wong. And here's the next pitch on him. He cuts and misses that one. Boy, Parker right now looks unhittable. 2 strikeouts and an 0-2 count with 2 outs in the 9th inning against Wong. .26 homers, 104 runs batted in 118 games for Hwang last year in South Korea. He hit .335. Ready is Blake Parker. 0-2 pitch, and it's chopped foul over on the left side. One of the things that this South Korean was known for, playing in his native country, and he played 10 years in South Korea professionally. He would flip his bat a lot after hitting a home run. That's not going to fly too well at the major league level. And here's the 0-2. That one is low, blocked on that one by Tony Sanchez. 2 strikes on Hwang. He spells his last name H-W-A-G. Jae Wong. Very accomplished hitter in South Korea. So the count's 1-2, and here comes the next pitch here in the 9th, and it just missed outside a slider. 2-2. Angels today 5 runs on 10 hits, and for San Francisco, the Giants have had 4 runs in today's ball game, and they have had 12 hits. Parker ready, and the 2-2 on Hwang, and he reaches at that one and lines that ball fair over the first base bag. It's going to bounce around down the right side. He is headed for second and will get there easily with a 2-out double. So this game is not over yet. Hwang, who didn't look real good on a couple of pitches, ends up getting a 2-strike double, and they have the tying run at second. Austin Slater will be the next batter. Since coming into the game, he's grounded out his only time up. Slater, a pretty good prospect in the Giants system. solid hitter at the minor league level, and we'll see if Parker can get him. A hit could tie up the game. And here's the pitch, and that is on the outside corner. The Giants do have a pitcher warming up if this game goes to the bottom of the ninth. And they've already used 9 pitchers today. Count is 0-1. Next one on Slater, and that's a dandy on the outside corner. That was a good slider. So it's no balls and 2 strikes, and the Giants once again are down to their final strike in this ball game. 0-2 the count. Infield is backed up. Parker ready. And here's the 2-strike pitch low, and that one skipped away from the catcher. Sanchez breaking for third, and beating the throw there is Wong. It'll be a wild pitch. A little better, quicker throw. They might have got that base runner, but he advances. And now the tying run at third base. Parker still way in front, 1-2 on the count. Slater backed out of the batter's box. Angels right-hander is ready. 1-2 is the count, and the delivery, and he got him with a slider on the outside corner. Struck him out looking, and the ball game is over. So the Angels hold on here in the 9th inning and come away with another victory, number 6 in a row here in the Cactus League. Blake Parker ends up striking out the side here in the 9th inning, although he did give up the 2-out double. He prevented that runner from scoring from third base. So solid win again for the Angels. A lot of positives so far in the first week of games here in the Cactus League, as the Angels come away with the victory here today by the final score of 5-4. Jose will be visiting shortly with the Angels third base coach Ron Renicky. The Angels had 5 runs, 10 hits, no errors, and the Angels ended up leaving 7. And as far as the Giants here today, San Francisco, they ended up with 4 runs, and they had 13 hits, 1 error. And the Giants here this afternoon, as far as runners left on base, looks like they finished up leaving 8 runners on. Jose Mota is down on the first base line, and he is being joined by Angels third base coach Ron Renicky.
Thanks, Terry. Well, Ronnie, you have a longer spring training, a lot of bodies. Tell me about how things are going, especially with your outfielders.
Oh, they're going well. I think the guys are that need to get it going early, or getting in all their work in early, and the competition's certainly there for maybe a spot on the roster. The other guys that are starters, we started a little bit late, and Mike, will break them in slowly, but so far everything's good. Everybody's healthy right now, so it's good.
From your perspective, you got a couple of center fielders now commanding left field. Revere and Maven, what do they bring to you next to Mike Trout?
Well, if you look at our whole outfield defensively, our infield also, but we really should have a good defense this year. In the outfield, we have speed to cover everything. Cole's got the great arm and right. And I think between Revere and Maven trading off out there should cover a lot of ground. So big ballpark we play in, so it's nice having that speed.
Let's talk about implementing speed into the game and your signs and things you have to work through with all these players. How happy were you to implement some things in that 7th inning?
Yeah, that was good. It's really nice to have a lot of guys on the team that can run and do things. A lot of times you have guys that just bash the ball and you kind of go base to base. It's not how I like to play. I know it's not how Mike likes to play. So it's nice to have. We've got not just Maben Revere coming over, but you talk to Valbuena all of a sudden says he'd like to run a little bit, and certainly Espinosa wants to run a little bit. So we're getting a lot of guys that maybe will bring some speed back and be able to create some things instead of waiting for the home run.
Thanks so much, Ronnie. You know what? Keep him going.
I'll try to.
Thanks a lot. Terry, let's go back to you.
All right, thanks, Jose. The Angels with another victory go to 6-0 today with the win against the San Francisco Giants. Want to remind you, if you're tuned in on Fox Sports West today, Jose will be along with Alex Curry in just a moment, and they'll have a lot more post-game analysis on Angels Live. And on the radio side, we have a little bit more planned for you as well. The Angels come away with the win 5-4. This is the Angels Baseball Radio Network and Fox Sports West.
Welcome to our One for Everyone